Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and Craig Skidmore here for Deep Love Tarot, your weekly love horoscope for the week of September the 8th through 13th, but we will go to the 14th since, of course, we're doing this on Tuesday since it was Labor Day here in the US of A.
Give a little preview to next week.
Yeah, well, a little preview for Monday. And, of course, check out highvibe.tv. Make sure that you're a member so you can get all the exclusive horoscopes that are done by not only myself, but awesome other people that are doing tarot, astrology, and so many other spiritual aspects. But of course, that's where the exclusive videos are every day for my horoscopes and weekly sun sign horoscopes. And right now, I am doing an awesome weekly sale for all of my astrology classes. We're talking about tiers 1 through 3. We're talking about all of them. And you also get my Love Masterclass, my most popular class I actually ever sold and did, 10 classes of that. And you're also going to get my e-commerce spiritual business school and how to do it depending on what you're doing in spirituality, all combined under the Ride the Wave package. You can get this thing right now this week, and it's 90 plus hours of video content because all the schools that I want to do forward, I don't want to have to keep rehashing the let me teach you. So I'm giving you all this right now that I have done over the years, all at a special price, all packaged up. You just buy the package and you get access to every single class. So go to highvibe.tv, click on the school, and then you'll see it right there on the front page.
Or highvibetvschool.com.
That's correct. And well, tomorrow on Wednesday is Battle of the Gods, literally, as Mars retrogrades in Aries here. So don't forget to get Battle of the Gods. It's under the paid video section of highvibe.tv. And you can get that and watch it on the apps, or you can watch it on your computer or whatever. And you don't even have to be a member of HighVibe. All you got to do is purchase it through there. And of course, use your email, all that with a password, and you have access to it all the time. So definitely check that out. 4-hour plus video all about what this next 3 months is going to be like.
It's a doozy. And of course, all the links are below in the description.
Yeah, go down below here on YouTube. Well, what a week to kind of come into love with. Already just, in America at least, coming into a holiday week is always a little funky, right? Tuesday's Monday, but really not, and everything. Today has definitely felt like there's a lot of things that are kind of in stall motion, just like raw. What are you feeling?
I felt it was a bit, yeah. I mean, that's a perfect description of blah, 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 blah. It was a busy weekend. It didn't really even feel like a 3-day weekend. It went by extremely fast. There's a lot going on in the world, a lot going on here in California. The sun was shining. It was hot as heck out. I got a nice little tan going today. So thank you for that, world. The water was cold though. It was nice though.
And then it cooled down and got really humid and then a little cool. And then we had the fires.
Yeah, we got a lot going on here.
And so it was ashy. And it was, yesterday actually kind of felt like I was like, uh-oh, Mars is about to retrograde. Like it feels like kind of wartime, out there.
Yeah, the sun is glowing. I mean, the smoke is so thick here. Even in Huntington Beach, there's not even really any fires necessarily that close to us. But there's many growing in the Los Angeles National Forest and in other regions out here, and everything's kind of coming out the coastal. So you could even see the sun just glowing up there, this bright red in the sky. It's pretty wild to see.
I was able to stare at the sun. I took a little walk when I was on the phone for like 30 minutes. I did laps around here, and I was looking at the sun like I could just, with no sunglasses on, could just stare at it because it's that thick. That was what was weird. I was like, and then I started to think it's Mars retrograde coming up here Wednesday, so we're in less than 24 hours of it, and I was like, is this what it felt like, let's say 1,000 years ago, like the vibe of like, yeah, I'm about to go to war.
Right.
Like, or, it's very like, wee. So there's an eeriness to this week.
It's pretty much the whole West Coast. Don't want to forget Northern California, Oregon. Hope y'all are staying safe up there too. So.
Yeah, there was some really weird stuff that went on this weekend all over the place. And
it snowed in Colorado today.
That's so weird. And it was 100 degrees at the beach here.
Snowed. They had it was some insane degree shift. I forgot, it was like over like 50 degrees dropped.
Well, I think that there's a lot of that going on in love. There's going to be some fires that are burning that might be like really hot and woo. And then some cold snow. That's this Mars retrograde. So if you never watched the show before, we're going to go into your whole entire love reading. All 12 signs. Of course, we do the collective first. Where I'm going to give you the astrology and pull the card and see what's happening collectively. And of course, we pull your zodiac sign based off the
I love gold.
high vibe cup.
Gold, I love it so much.
We have lots of different decks, which I'm sure that you could see here, and we have a good time.
And we got a little black and
Yeah,
white.
I threw a little bit of a new camera right here real quick, just to kind of, change things up. Why not? So I say we go into this collective reading and go right into this. Let's see what's cracking. And if people could share this too, that'd be awesome.
Thought we were gonna do a little bit longer intro right there, so don't mind me. We're just getting that collective ready.
It's all good. I mean, I just want to tell everybody this Mars stopping, stationary, retrograde that's going to happen. I said it's going to feel like quicksand without a rope. So that's why I was telling everybody, get to the identity of what you want and what you don't want. And
I was watching Princess Bride last night, when Wesley dives down into the was it the lightning sand, they call it in there, that lightning sand to save Princess Buttercup.
Or isn't it
a beautiful story?
It's the swamps of whatever, and it's
the forest of something, I think.
And then it's the something quicksand. It's the something.
I think it's called lightning sand.
Yeah.
I should know. I just watched it last night. But.
Yeah, and it just it's very. There's a lot of tension if you feel like you have not
the fire swamp.
The fire swamp. Yeah, if you haven't really tried to go for what you want, and so when it comes to love. I'll just say this week, the Sun trines Jupiter, ironically, tomorrow, Wednesday, with Mars retrograde. So Mars is going retrograde to join with Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn retrograde, Uranus retrograde. There's a lot of retrogrades. And so this Sun trine Jupiter, there's always like the Sun-Jupiter day. You guys all know I love Sun-Jupiter days, the 3 that come a year, the 2 trines and then the conjunction point. But it is a Virgo sun, and it is a Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn. And with the Mars retrograde, there's this little bit of like, I really want to change my life, but I'm unsure of like if I'm ready to go, because Mars stops and it goes retrograde and it's squaring Saturn. And so this is going to be where it's like, does risk really offer the best alternative to not seeing something? Yes. I mean, the Sun of Virgo is wanting to change things and reinvent things in a way that's not like Aquarian, but like simple. Like, what's not simply happening in your love life that really wants to work? And with Jupiter here in Capricorn, this is this retrograde Jupiter that does come direct on Saturday. So this is very weird that from Wednesday to Saturday, we're going to see 2 planets shifting. And it's almost like some people can really feel like there's quicksand with no rope, because without Jupiter direct and on the last days of it stationary retrograde, it stopped too. And that's the planet of hope, and it's in its worst sign, Capricorn, and it's definitely having some trouble. And the Sun is actually looking at Jupiter exactly at the same time. Sun is also going to oppose Neptune this week. And so while all this is going down, that can bring us to this place of like, am I ever going to get my reality the way I want to? And if we're focused on love, like, that's why I'm saying risk. Jupiter and Capricorn is the lesson of risk. Mars square Saturn is risk with courage. Like, there's a lot that's going to be. And it's like, instead of looking at it maybe as quicksand and not having a rope, it's almost like, did you take the risk to not try to get out when the rope was available? Like, it's almost like people can get comfortable in quicksand. People can get comfortable in their subconscious. There's going to be a very weird element too of looking at what subconscious blocks are not being addressed in our reality with the Sun opposed Neptune. And you have to remember that Neptune's in good aspect with Jupiter. So the only doors that really are open are the ones that are more spiritual and the ones that really are accessing the understandings of subconscious blocks. We are with Venus and Leo, thank God. So to have fun is important, and to find things that are about fun. This is definitely not a time to be critical with this Virgo energy, and especially with Mercury and Libra, judgmental, because this is a time where what do we have left except the things that make us feel good and happy and looking and seeing the best in other people, opposed to we're already in a divisive world and already a world that it's got so much crazy stuff going on. The last thing we want to do is add to that heavy load and weight, because it's going to feel like a heavy weight now that Mars is retrograde. That courage, that ambition, that drive is all you are going to have when the weight feels heavy. So it's almost like if you were to try and go bench press and they put like a 600 pounds on it and you didn't have a spotter and you just, it's like, what do you do? Are you just going to give up, or are you going to push this thing through? And so when it comes to love, this is definitely a week where the sun is looking at Jupiter. The sun is looking at Pluto as well. Transformation and change through opening up a whole new story and different stories. And Mars retrograde square Saturn, Mars retrograde square Pluto Jupiter. I mean, this is definitely a kind of a tense point. Remember, Mars is at 28 degrees where it retrogrades, and that's an exact opposition to where Saturn and Pluto conjuncted in Libra in 1983, the end of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. So that was the last one to the one that we finally had here in 2020 in January on the 12th. So this is directly looking at cutting away 37 years of just crap in relationship situations. And the subconscious element is, how do we make the dreams reality? What are the blocks to that? Do we know how to be forgiving and also know how to be easy? And Neptune is retrograde. There's so many planets retrograde this week. And the only planets that are direct are the personal ones of Mercury and Venus. And it's like there's this weird moment here of like, at least they're in alignment, and that's Libra and that's Leo, which is love. If you're not having full love and relationship energies, then you might feel like you're in hell.
Is this a time that maybe you should act on that, or like not be so reactive and maybe just like hold off for another week to kind of, discuss certain things within your love relationships?
I mean, I would say that the writing's been on the wall. If it doesn't feel like love and awesomeness, and that's the courage to get that heavy weight off you, but it's going to feel heavier, and then you're going to look back, and that's what I think the whole Sun opposed Neptune thing is this week, is like, fuck, it's been showing to me in the past from Spirit the whole time. Did I not bridge that to my reality and make the change? Sun's going to try and Pluto. Sun's going to try and Jupiter. So this is an opportunity. It's just a unique opportunity of like, because people think, oh, Mars retrograde in Aries is ego, and maybe it's time to stop your ego. Yeah, it is. But ego likes to attach to an identity of like, I can't leave this, or I have to do this. Like, these are erasing a lot of those things, and whether or not it's alignment with your long-term destiny or not. And if it feels like a heavy weight, why even do that? This is about clearing heavy weights. This is about clearing heavy karma that our egos still are holding on to, that was cleared out even from 2019. So this is about clearing and the courage to clear it instead of retreat back, because Mars retrograde is a warrior retreating, like, I'm going to retreat back. So actually I would see more people who were ready and new, and then they feel the heavy weight, so they go actually more into a heavier weight because they want to retreat back. So retreating is not good. It'll just bring you, I mean, look at where the last Mars retrograde was, June, July, August of 2018. That was I can fix it in South Node with Aquarius. I can fix it. It'll be fixed. And when that went direct, nope. Bye-bye. So I can retreat, and I'll still win the battle. No, you'll lose and get pounded. Interesting way to look at that. Because, the idea of retreating too might be having to be re-looked at for love. Like, oh, retreat is I quit. No, retreat is I'm not going to go into a heavy load, or I'm retreating because I am too afraid to actually see through, even though it looks challenging and those guys look scary, if we're using a war analogy. Like, look at what's going on in Australia. I don't know if you saw it this weekend, the cameras that just got put all over, and they're watching people now with cameras like China, and that was on the mainstream news. So everybody that was saying that, oh no, they're not, there's no planes coming in from, you know where, to bring in a system like where. Oh, they did it. So actually all this stuff's floating around saying, oh no, they did that. So, I think, and I'm going to take this to broader than love for just 1 second here, this Mars retrograde. And this affects your love life because if the partner is not on the same team with you, especially when it comes to the choices that you want to make in your long-term life and what you especially believe in, with Jupiter here in Capricorn. Like, this is where people have to stand in solidarity against being told how to do things and being controlled. So if you're in a relationship where that thing is controlling you in such a way where you won't be yourself, and that could be your own self, right? Like, you can be controlled by yourself, right? Like, because morally I must stay here, although it's heavy and I hate it and I don't like it and I don't want to be here and this sucks. And I'm too emo about it. Because Mars is opposing Libra, and that's where Mercury is, and that's where Juno is finishing, and then it's squaring over to Capricorn and it's squaring to Cancer. So this is creating massive cross situations, cardinal cross stuff. So it has to deal with your emotional, your long-term, and if that really is peaceful and balanced or not. And Mars retrograde is, where do you retreat? And do you retreat because you're afraid? Or do you retreat because, I need to save my troops and be able to continue the war? And I think that's going to be where it's at. So there's two scenarios. I don't think that one's right, if that makes sense, to answer your question. Like, I don't think it's stop. This is not Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is where you stop and process things. Mars retrograde is the review of the actions that you've been taking, especially if you want to go to the last one in Aries. I mean, let's be real, like the actions you've been taking since '88. I mean, that's a long time.
That's a damn long time.
Right? So, and also your desires. Do you really get your desires? Or do you not? Because, do you fight for yourself, for your destiny, and what you deserve to get for your long-term goals, for the work you put in? Or do you retreat to that and go, no, and with Uranus and Taurus, that is the whole lesson. Like, you only get to heaven right now through owning your value and your worth, and also taking things that are of that high value and worth, not trying to settle for crap. People right now are willing to settle for crap now. I'm not just talking in love, just in anything, right? Like, I'll just settle for, whatever. And that's part of the conditioning of this Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, which I warned for 3 years was conditioning. Conditioning for people to accept a lesser life and be okay with it. And that is running around more than what we are being told is running around. So, it's like Tesla stock. Look at it today.
Take a big old crap.
So would you continue to go fight for that stock when, even though you knew the whole time it was like, this doesn't make sense, it's too high, they're not even doing anything? Sure, Elon Musk is doing things in other places, but that's not Tesla. You know what I mean? That's not the company. So, are you going to go build a new, are you going to finally retreat and pull out and just be like, okay, yeah, this stock's done? Or are you going to go, I'm going to still fight for the stock. Maybe it'll go back up to the high again. Yeah, right. Right? There's that writing on the wall, that Saturn, like, what? Saturn rules totally now. And Saturn knows timing, responsibility, and choices that need to be made. And Saturn's getting ready to come direct, and Jupiter's coming direct. this week. And so, yeah, it's like if you have opportunities, you have to take them. Retreating into opportunities that are of the past that are the same thing and you're expecting a different result is definitely not going to be good. So, yeah. Let's see what the cards have to say.
Alrighty.
Well, we got the devil card up right. Isn't that what we got last week? And I shuffled the crap. I've been using this deck all week. Our desires, our wants, what we really need in our life, relationship-wise, is a big deal. But I think there's going to be a lot of questions on, am I in a really, am I chained to something? I mean, I'll be honest, this is also a very sexual card, right? So, I think that you have to look at that and also make sure, like, one, is it so sexual, but it's really not the best vibe for you? And it's not bringing you love or it's not bringing you anything and you're getting kind of lost in that and it's taking you down a dark hole? Or is that completely missing? And you're at a place to where, you're just chained to actually not getting anything in your life. And I would also say that the devil card deals with some sort of idea of control, right? That if you feel that this relationship is controlling your life, and that can mean like, well, if I make this move, then it affects me in this way so deep that you won't make the true life of what you are, then you're trapped. And that's gonna be a big question. The challenge that we got here is the Emperor in reverse. So, not going to be a great time to just feel that empowerment within self to do what you know you really want to. But I think that's the question. It's like, are you going to let the devil win, which could be like inside of yourself, like the obsession with either crap or the obsession with what's not good and not standing up for yourself and not taking the direction and not fully going for what you really want in your life? The overall card that we got here is the Queen of Wands in reverse. She feels dumb about love. She feels like upside down. So I think overall it's like anything that just feels where you feel stupid or it just doesn't feel as beautiful and as loving and as magnificent as it could be, then you would be dumb to stay in anything like that or to enter into anything where you feel stupid. The shadow to that Emperor card that we got is the addicted card. And I was really feeling that word with the devil card. The relationships that we're addicted to that don't make us feel empowered or make us feel like we're really not in our true powerful self, like that is what's not going to work. And that devil card that we got, we did get the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So are we just going to kind of sit in the fire swamp, like Craig was saying earlier, in this space and not continue the journey forward? Or are we just stuck? This is definitely a stuck card, the Knight of Pentacles reversed on the devil. So it's like, are you just stuck in kind of your own, giving yourself, being tricked? You're tricking yourself in something that seems it's of substance when it's really not. Are you tricking yourself into holding yourself back into something beautiful because you would rather stay in a shitty, dark place? And the reason we got that Queen of Wands reversed is the Lovers. Wow. So I think it's okay to feel stupid about things in all relationships. Like that happens, and especially with love. But I would say when the Lovers are showing up over that Queen of Wands in reverse, it's like we know the ultimate love and the true feminine qualities and the beauty and the aspects of it. And that's what we have to focus on. It's not some addicted kind of disempowering thing, or I'm only empowered because of that person, or I'm stuck because I don't feel like I'm afraid to either get out of the chains of this, or I'm afraid to feel that I would be chained, but really, you're already chained in some other place that's not that great for you overall. And the overall card that we got is the Mercury Retrograde Reinvention. Oh wow, this is a very weird reading. I would say overall for the collective this week, we are all being thrown into another look at things that maybe we needed to finally see. You know, there's a lot of revealing this week of a complete reinvention of what love looks like in many ways, and whether or not, you know, where are we stuck? We're all chained somewhere. We're either chained singly to not wanting to be in relationships, to chained relationships that we feel like we can't be without. Where's the journey now moving forward in love? And what are we addicted to that doesn't make us feel empowered? And what makes us feel stupid about the beautifulness of the true love that we can find? Like, where is it that we're like, oh no, I don't know if I'm good enough for that. I don't know if I have the ability to be the queen that sits on the throne of love for the ultimate love. We did get the moon in the 12th in Libra. So this is definitely bringing up, you know, relationships that emotionally we've been blinded by the light, or we've been not paying attention. Or, you know, the good thing of the moon in the 12th definitely can pick up on the hidden emotional elements of like really finding the deep spiritual nature in relationships. But we also need to not get stuck emotionally on things that are taking us backwards. And I would say that this is definitely going to be a judgment call emotionally this week for us about how we operate in relationships. Which ones are divine for us and which ones are holding us back.
I'm sensing almost like a loss of self within this relationship, and that might not be necessarily like a bad thing. Like, take for example, you know, when you first start dating something, it kind of revolves around, you know, having some cocktails to loosen up and everything like that, and easily that can snowball and kind of be like a major part of your relationship, even though maybe it wasn't a major part of either one of your lives. But since you start doing that together, it can kind of snowball, and then you both kind of lost a sense of yourself. And I think there does just need to be that talk, because with that Lover's card, you know, I think there is the possibility of love within that relationship, but there needs to kind of be that restructuring, because with that addiction card too, you know, it's kind of being addicted to that moment of that feeling of that, you know, that giddiness, that looseness, that maybe, you know, whatever it is that's inhibiting, you know, yourself or in your partner's self. So I think there just needs to kind of be that communication of saying like, okay, is this really us? Or are we kind of just playing into the role of, you know, of what we think each other wants within that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you touched on like one small part of a much more intricate system of things going on right now. That what you brought up could also be flopped into many different departments of like, are we really in touch with our true self, number one?
Right.
And are we really in touch with, you know, there's some people out there not in relationships, right? And they're like, are we chained to things that aren't giving us great offerings, that we've stopped our journey too? That's the thing about Knight of Pentacles. Like, have we stopped our journey on a shitty place? Which it says we kind of have, because that's Knight of Pentacles on the devil. So it's like, we have stopped the journey on a place that we're thinking that, you know, the devil card thinks that it can kind of swoon, or it can kind of, you know, transform and kind of a weird, obsessed way, turn something into something that's not, right? Something dark into light in some sort of way. It's not the magician, though. It's not alchemy. So there's something about our journey where we're stopped this week to see, you know, what do we need to clear and bring into the more beautiful truth? And that Emperor reverse too was really weird to see. And that the only way through that with the shadow was, you know, that addiction to what's not empowering us. Or addicted to something that we think is empowering us, but it's really not. It's backwards. So, I mean, there is, I think, a true spiritual love out there. And I think that, you know, in order to get that, you have to make sure with that Moon, Libra, 12th house that we pulled as the Astro dice, we have to be able to clear the energies emotionally in order to bring in the more beautiful emotions, either in that partnership or let it go completely. Or if you're single, right, like let go to the things that are holding you back from that. There's a lot that we're going to have to filter through. This is a big, like pretty wild week. This is not going to be a simple one.
All right. Who?
Sages came first.
Oh.
You know it's going to be kind of a weird party here when Sag comes first. checking out the chat, seeing what's up with the chat.
Yeah, I saw someone asking about the painting behind me. That's actually the latest one of There's an Art to Life with Kim, so you can actually learn how to paint this yourself. It's there for free on the app. Check it out.
Yeah. And that painting, actually, if we go back to it and look at you, we don't want to look at you, Craig. We want to look at the painting. Just kidding. You know, Virgo is where Regulus is at now. So the crown is in of Regulus. The royal star is in the regal star, is in 0 of Virgo. It happened in 2012. So, you know, a good example is how the Kardashians just now are done, right?
Right.
Like, no longer is this whole facade of what we think is this celebrity or regal energy surviving anymore, right? Like, I'm not saying that maybe you thought that out there, but like there was kind of that entrancement over, you know, all of our lives until 2012 when, you know, this shift has been happening of Regulus and Virgo now, which is like, you know, there's a purity that has to come. And so Virgo wears the crown now, and then Virgo is of just true service. And, you know, there's work with Virgo too, though, but it can be very beautiful. And it's like, you know, where Leo is definitely this courageous heart and so much, but it has to be tamed now. And it also has to not get lost in, you know, I can just have it however in any way I want, you know, like Virgo edits Leo in a way to show where we can make things better. That's what all the mutable signs do after the fixed signs, is how can we make it better? So, you know, there's a lot about like seeing the prizes change now, what we thought were prizes and how they look too. Well, let's see what's going on for you, Sag, this week. First card you got is the King of Pentacles upright. So this is you, especially in this deck, this is you writing into your value systems very, very passionately and knowing the ultimate of what you could have with your value and self-worth. And so this is again, I think it's going to be a test, especially with this Sun trine Jupiter this week for you in your second house of self-worth and value, to this 10th house of decisions that you make that are the best for you in the long term and knowing if you're getting your value or not. And Mars retrograde for you is in your love house. So I'll be honest, Sages have some crazy love situations about to happen here. The Tower reversed is your challenge. So afraid of letting something completely fall down. Huh. In order to get your self-worth, something might have to crash. You pulled the Chariot reversed as your overall. So yeah, you're afraid to move forward into a different direction that is guided by the stars. It's almost like, no, I don't want to follow my intuition and my guidance. I don't want to do that. No, no, no. And that's the ultimate self-worth that you're lacking, is trusting in the ultimate self-worth of the godly and higher powers that are directing you into a different space, and the fears that you have of moving in new journeys and watching things crumble. That you've gotten too deep into, you know, this is where you get too deep, right? I'm too deep into it. I can't. Well, you got the queen of my world. That's your issue. Look at that. The queen in the tower that's reversed. Ooh. No, I can't lose that tower. I'm the queen. And, you know, this is a little bit in Aries. Like when she gets on the fucking dragon and like, okay, she's going to get the throne and she decides to burn down the whole fucking city because she doesn't even have value for that fucking crown or the throne that she wants to have. So, you know, don't get all Daenerys on this. And also, at the same time, don't get Daenerys on yourself. But I would say that, you know, this is part of the challenge in the shadow of I can't let anything be destroyed because, oh, no, I found the ultimate. When it's like, this is kind of showing, like, Spirit's trying to have you have the courage to move in a new direction. Mars retrograde in your 5th house, square Saturn in your 2nd. Value and your heart are not being met up. Or you're not being valued, or you pulled the 5 of Cups in reverse, which is the sorrow card. So, and I would say that, you know, sorrow is something that is released because it is reversed when you do take your ultimate value. You know, there's something about, especially relationships or love, when it's like, you know what, I'm not feeling my value here, and I'm going to really go get my real value and be who I am. You know, there's something empowering about that. And I think that there's a lot of underlying kind of this fear of like melancholy energy that goes away when you step into your power of value and worth. Why did that Chariot come up reversed? Oh, the Temperance card. Because beautiful things are naturally beautiful. But I feel like, and I'm just going to be honest for Sagittarius, I feel like there's a lot that has been tailored that to try and like take something that was not beautiful and keep making it beautiful. Like, you know how, and I think that it's great that people have turned trash into art, right? You know, like some people have turned trash cans and stuff like that and turned it into art pieces. Like, I've seen all that kind of stuff before, but you know, that's not like Botticelli. It's not, you know, it's not going to make it at the Louvre. You know, at the Louvre, like you're not going to see that. So, you know, there's something about like the Chariot reverse. Like, I'm not done trying to beautify something, but what is naturally beautiful about relationships? That the value's there, and that you're not afraid of getting destroyed. And really doing a check, Sag, and being like, is this shit really like good enough to go in a museum that was naturally built, first original? Or has this been just like, I'll take whatever piece I can get to keep it all together? Like patching up things, but that aren't even patches, right? It's like, man. Your overall card that you got here is the Jupiter of Abundance card. So abundance only comes when you do take the journey to understand your whole situation, and also the journey of life comes when we have the doors open to be willing to accept and understand and be taught to open up to understanding more, to seeing things different. And with Jupiter in your second, and it's coming direct this week, I think that this is a good week overall for you. But I think it's like there are irrational fears that are very irrational, because it's like, there's the ultimate story for you, but it's almost like, are you willing to really just step into that? Or just kind of stay away from that and thinking that that's where your abundance is? Questions on where that abundance lies. You pulled the South Node in Pisces in the second house. So, I mean, this is definitely, or is that the North Node? That's the North Node. Understanding the subconscious issues around value, worth. Also, the sensitivity to money, or to, you know, trying to, this is with the South Node in Virgo in the 8th would be your addiction to a reality you think is working, that's providing. What is this providing you? Is it spiritual? And if something about money were to be taken away, would it still be spiritual? So it's like hidden shit regarding monetary aspects or physical aspects that if were removed, would it still be worthy to you?
It's something of like a forced situation as well. You know, it's like trying to control and trying to hold the universe from actually what it's trying to do, you know, with that Tower card and with the Chariot reverse and everything, you know, instead of actually just letting the universe guide him, you know, he's fighting with everything, or she's fighting with everything that she's got, you know, to try to make it right in her own mind, in her own picture, instead of just looking and paying attention to the keys and the notes that are being played around us, you know. There is a sympathy. I can't even speak right now. You got to be the conductor of your life. We'll start with that, you know. But at the same time, you have to and you have to be able to adapt. You have to go and with the flow, you know. Once that music is playing all around you, you got to appreciate the beauty, you know, and you can't control it. It's like jazz to a certain extent. You know, there's going to be notes that are going to be off a bit, but you know that that's a key, and that's the universe at play. That's going to take you where you need to go.
Yeah, and you know, it's like, I don't know why I keep getting this. My guides keep showing me trash cans used as art. Like, it's like, or it's like, I don't know. It reminds me of those bands that came out that were like using trash cans and stuff. I forgot
Stomp.
what they were, you know.
I think it's called Stomp.
Stomp, or like even like
Blue Man Group.
Blue Man Group, exactly. That's who I was exactly thinking of. Like Eiffel Tower, interesting.
Right.
But I just feel like it's like that stuff doesn't last for eternity. I bet you it's trashed. The art that was trash, that was trash, that was looked at as art, I don't think it makes it. It reminds me of things that were trendy in the 2000s, and then like, you know, just one minute you look at that building and it's torn down. It's just like, that used to be cool at once. It's not cool anymore. And I think that there's definitely a lot of that vibe that Sagittarius had to pay attention to. Kind of like, is that really that great? You know? I don't know. Pisces.
Le Pisces.
It's serious energy out there tonight, folks. The energy is definitely like, it's actually very War of the Worlds, like the noises in that movie. And no, I'm not playing the Taurus noise, but it's like,
I can't even say sympathy. I can't even still say it.
what? Say what? I didn't hear
I
you.
can say it in my mind, and then it's just coming out as sympathy. Symphony.
Oh, symphony.
Fucking symphony.
I mean,
of the
I
universe.
just keep getting, it's like War of the Worlds, but you know, it's like, and then, you know, if you go longer in War of the Worlds, they start sucking the humans and they're spraying the blood of humans all over the place to create their weird shit. That's the vibe out there right now. Go find your little fucking, you know, place that's true. It's not, you know. All right, Pisces, let's see what's going on. Well, you did get the Queen of Cups in reversed. So, look at her with all those serpents around her. And reversed, Queen of Cups reversed. Well, I would say that, you know, definitely if you're mothering somebody right now or having to be big mama, no. Or you're taking care of somebody and they're not taking care of you back, oh, that's not going to be a fun place for you to be. Also, this is about learning self-nurturing. Are you knowing how to self-nurture yourself? And are you able to get what you really want? Because, you know, that's not fun. And I would say that there's a lot of emotional issues here. I mean, Mars retrograde for you is in your second house of self-worth. So talking about self-worth, like the sign that's getting it the most about, Pisces have to have value and confidence in their self-worth, or then they're just too sensitive. They can't make anything happen in life. And that square to Saturn is about the people that you're around. And also this is the Sun opposed Neptune. So this is a big relationship week for you in opposition. And where are you kind of lost in a story that's maybe emotionally not fulfilling you at all? You did get your challenge as the Sun card. So, you know, I would say that, you know, maybe it's not as bright as you think it is in certain places, and stop lighting up these kind of insecure emotional positions that are not being, that you're nurturing places that are not true to the true light. Like it's like false light, or you're not being, you know, the challenge is also just feeling sunny and positive and actually being able to be free to express yourself fully the way that you want to, or you're not getting what you want. And I would say that has to do with like you kind of hanging on emotions in a certain place. You did get the King of Wands upright though, which is a great card. That the overall is like, yeah, I mean, it better be a fiery, exciting place to go, because it's not going to be fun in this kind of deeper hold energy that would just, I would say that this is knowing where the false light is, and you continue to look at that false light. Your shadow is, atonement. So you're out of tune with what's false and what's true, and what's, I would say, especially when it comes to yourself, I would say that this is, you know, you're kind of out of, like, you're stabbing yourself in the back by not being your true self and accepting emotional situations that are just kind of drowning. And I think that this is an empowering week for you. I just think it's an empowering week of like, yeah, I'm not going to do that to myself, or I need to readjust things. I don't need to get emotionally involved in things where I'm not getting it back. Seven of Swords upright. There's definitely you lying to yourself, or a partner that's lying to you, and that you've emotionally kind of fell for it. And this week, you know, it's not going to be fun to kind of deal with that. So, you know, there could be, you know, you've been lying to yourself, or maybe you're lying to a partner too, and it's like, you know, they're understanding it. But I'm feeling more of like, you're kind of holding on to a lie and know it. And that's making you out of tune. The reason why you got this Knight of Wands upright is you did get the Justice reversed. So, I mean, I would say that the only way to true justice in your relationship life is to take the courage to go into the real place where you know where your heart really stands and stand for it. But you'll get opposite. You'll be feeling like you never get any justice if you don't take the stand and you don't take the passion, you don't take the courageousness to go what's true to you and what the true alignment is in your life. Your overall card that you did get is the Saturn card of truth. So we're definitely dealing with a lot of truth. We're definitely dealing with a lot of, standing in your truth and not lying to yourself emotionally, and also not being, played or manipulated as well. 7 of Swords with that Queen of Cups in reverse. And Justice reversed too. So there's a lot of it might feel unfair, but it's more like you're accepting a shitty situation or you're lying to yourself, which is unfair to you. Don't blame any unfairness on anything except for it's unfair to yourself if you don't go to the true happiness in your life that you have to get on that horse and mount up and go towards or sit on that throne. You did get Leo, South Node, 10th house. Yeah, this would be, I have to be loyal to this plan that really emotionally is not connecting me. And maybe it's about disrupting the emotional position to truly free yourself to get to the right roots. You don't need to stay loyal as a palm tree that's trying to grow in Denver while it's snowing in the summer and trying to grow. It's not going to work.
Yeah, I tried to grow a plumeria in Oregon and it didn't work too well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe that lie, that you're believing that you're telling yourself is that you need to take care of this individual, that you need to change them, or that you need to be this motherly influence, or positive light in their life. No, you don't need to. You need to shine yourself individually. And if they pick up on that, that's great, but you can't force the change. You can't just be there unconditionally for an individual if they're not going to be picking up on that energy as well and taking the steps to change themselves so that they can shine there with you, so that they can be that sun card with you. They can radiate that light and that Leo with you. You can only do so much, and you can't just continue to dim yourself or to give out your energy to an individual that's not picking up on that as well. They need to take the steps to better themselves. And if they are, that's great. Then you can shine together and continue pursuing that. But if it's not, then you need to face the music, so to speak.
Yeah, facing the music and not putting on earmuffs.
Right.
Or knowing it's, let's say hip hop when really it's not hip hop. It's something else, twisting things and also not wanting to listen. I think that you made a good point, especially being out of tune would be not listening to the truth within your soul and yourself. Because when you tune a guitar, you tune a violin or something, and, I'll be honest, when I was a kid, I used to use a tuner. I think everybody does, though.
Yeah, I still use a meat thermometer when I'm grilling.
Yeah, it's I like that you're using that analogy. It's use the gauges. Don't deny the gauges. If the gauge says that the car's overheating, the car's overheating. Don't tell yourself, maybe the gauge is broken. The car's overheating. I have enough gas. I mean, it says I'm on empty, but I have enough to get there. And then you're at the exit and then it goes out. And then, it's these times where you call and they've defunded the help that you need.
Right. The 1K love time.
Oh, are we there? We made it to the 1K. I guess it's time for 1K Collective. Let's do it. Brought to you by HighVibeTVSchool.com for this awesome package that I'm doing right now, Ride the Wave. So this is brought to you by that, which of course, Ride the Wave is the new package I'm doing for this week only, where you get all of my astrology schools all in one for a huge discount. So I can start doing some really advanced, crazy astrology schools. So if you want 90 plus hours on my astrology schools, all at discounted rate, go to HighVibeTVSchool.com. Click on Ride the Wave package.
Looks like that image.
There it is. Yeah, you get 1, 2, and 3 of all those astrology schools. It's I think close to 40 hours on there. And then there's another 40, or it's 37 hours and there with the love and relationship master class. And then, the spiritual e-commerce business is another, it's a lot.
It's over 90.
It's a lot. So it's everything all in one. Every astrology school I've ever done. right there. Actually, that's not true. I did other astrology schools back in the day, but those were from like 2013.
And the links are in the
These were all done
description.
in studio. So this is where you're going to pick one person,
Just
and
one.
we're going to find out what's going on with them.
Now, what if you're in like an open relationship type of thing with like two people?
Nope.
You just
One
got to
person.
pick one of them?
You pick one of them.
All right. There's the rules. Rules are rules.
And because it's going to be too much, right? Like, we want to know what's up with this one person because that'll affect the outcome of that if they're in an open relationship with two people or something.
There we go.
And you have to be talking to them or, you know, and engaged in both understanding that you guys are flirting or something like that. And that's pretty much the rules. And you can't apply it to somebody else and be like, oh, no, this feels like this person. No, you can't change it up on. No, you can't do that.
So they can't pick you or me.
Right. I mean, unless they talk to us directly and they're like, we're talking to them back and like, yo, what up?
What up?
So, or if somebody's on, let's say you're on your boyfriend or something, and then you're like, oh, but I've been talking to this one dude. It's like, that feels like me and him talking. It's like, no, this is about the dude you picked. So you got 5 seconds here to pick that person. Put them in your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Let's see what's going on. Well, we got the daughter of scepters, which is awesome. This is the page of wands upright. There's definitely a lot of there's a lot of interest passionate wise. There's a lot of curiosity and questions and a lot of also, maybe this person just made you, just made contact to you about something regarding passion or love or happiness. So, you know, it could be a new start of, this might be a new fling. This also might be that you have a lot of questions on am I taking this to another level with love? But there's definitely a lot of positive with the page of wands upright. So I would definitely say that there's definitely a lot of like kind of gung ho. What's going on here? I want to figure it out. Or it's kind of somebody saying, hey, out of nowhere, hey, I do like you. Like this is, whoa, okay. Or this is your partner saying, hey, I think we should do this. I think they'll bring us more love. It's like, okay. What's it all about though? What's the challenge going on overall with this? It's the Lover's card. It's wondering if there's love really there or not. So is this really the ultimate partnership or not? There's questions about that. I don't think that's bad though, but I would say that the challenge is, I would say that like, is it really love? Am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to stay in this relationship? If it's somebody that you're already currently in one in, but there's definitely a lot of positive curiosity going on. So it's definitely, but that positive curiosity is still getting to the end result of like, is this ending up to the ultimate? Like, are we ultimately lovers? And what would that look like? We got the Hierophant reverse. So it's definitely not traditional. It would break a lot of norms. Whether you break up with this person or whether you enter into the relationship with this person, this would be breaking a lot of norms. This would definitely be not traditional. It would be different. And I think that's what the question is like, especially with the lovers, this is not normal. The way that you go about it, the way that it's like, this is a relationship that's taking you down a path that you've never been before. And it would be breaking norms for you. The shadow to that lovers is the naked before the stars. So, I mean, you know, I would say that there's a lot of like putting you into such a new place. It would be also like a love situation that would feel like it would be going a lot more based off of a pure state than not. But it would also feel, I would say that it would kind of take you away into kind of this new area because it is kind of naked out. It's outside the window. It's like, it's outside. It's like, it's not like your typical inside situation, you know? It's like you're into this other area. And I think there's a lot of questions about if you're comfortable in that area or not. Let's see what the questions are really hitting. Knight of Cups in reversed. That, you know, if this was a new reach out or anything, or if this is just a lot of curiosity, a lot of it is because there's been a lot of emotions that have stopped. And there's a need to want to shift to bring emotions into a better place and not, but I would say that also at the same time, there's something about a really gung-ho and then at the same time an emotional like unsurety. And that's kind of making it for a lot of questions of if is this going to work or not. It doesn't feel traditional. So it's like there is excitement, there is passion, but there's also something like emotionally that hasn't either connected fully yet, or if you've connected emotionally, it's missing something emotionally deeply. And with this Hierophant reversed, it's not traditional because I think that there's also a battle as well, not only with, you know, whether it's you haven't connected emotionally yet or you have and it's empty. This Four of Pentacles, like maybe we value something that's untraditional, but are we getting our values met? Is it so untraditional that it doesn't meet our values? Or can we still get our values met and it's totally different and untraditional, and it's, you know, this is creating a new allegiance to how we're going through love. And the overall for this is the Aquarius. There's a knowing of how it all does come together, but it's a question of how it fits in the world. There's a question of what that world looks like. I would say that overall that this has a lot of dynamic pieces that are trying to be put together right now and see if it is going to function and connect. You know, it's an experiment. Experiments can go great and experiments cannot work out. And you can't get weird if it doesn't work out. And you know what? If they work, fuck. You can definitely be like an unpredictable heaven in many ways. So, you know, I have a feeling we kind of get, it is a crazy week. We got to give some people a little bit more, like just one card of that Aquarius. Like, what is that Aquarius card about here? Like, you know. Eight of Pentacles upright. So something that actually is radical and different, but that it's almost like maybe you and this person, or even could be you, but I'm saying that just overall, it feels like, you know, you've tested time and seen that you know how to make things connect, but how to go to that new level is a whole new thing. And, you know, that's the experiment. Can it go to a new level? It's kind of reached, we've been at this level and it's great, but it also needs to go to another one. And if it's not going to go to the other one, well, then that's what it was. And I would say that, you know, it's feeling monotonous, so it needs excitement to the next level. And if you're not willing to both go through there, the other person's not ready emotionally, or somebody's not ready to change on values, then it's just going to be run of the mill. And it's just going to feel kind of like a bicycle wheel that just is turning, just not, you know, it's not that exciting if it doesn't move to somewhere new. There's a lot of weird feelings about that.
Dice.
Oh, did I already do the dice? I don't know if I did. North Node, Leo, 12th house. So yeah, there's definitely, is this the ultimate spiritual love, or is this the ultimate spiritual facade?
I think it brings hope though within it. I think this is one of the better collective love readings that we've had a little bit. You know, new love can be scary, new relationships can be scary, especially if it's kind of like out of your wheelhouse, so to speak. You know, you might not have all the same interests, and you may have you know, experienced a lot more than your partner, or vice versa, you know. And it could be that whole new relearning, like, am I going to be able to incorporate my life with this individual, you know? And that's a decision that we have to make. And you have to see if that person's willing to make, not necessarily compromise, but like see where you come from and is willing to kind of incorporate those aspects of your life into their life, you know? And you're going to have to take aspects from their life into yours to really truly make that relationship work, you know? But I think that the hope is there. I think that there is definite promise with these relationships that you're looking at.
Yeah, and that's why I think the Aquarius thing, it's an experiment. It's like, you know, you don't know until you put the shit together and see if it turns into, you know, an awesome chemical or if it blows up. So it's just like, because there is something like that emotionally is, there's something exciting about it, but then there's this emotional part that's kind of dead in the water some way. So that's why it needs to go to a new level. Like, it needs to be taken to the next level. And if it can't be taken, because that's Uranus, and that's also with the Eight of Pentacles being this kind of monotonous, just building the same thing. It's not, you know, like, it needs to go to this new level. And if it's unable there and somebody can't change their values and it's an empty experiment. But if it's going to be taken to a new level and go through that and take the risk of that and see where it's there, I mean, that's still an experiment in itself. But hey, that's what this is leading towards. Like, that's the trying to understand path.
Oh, life.
Yes, sir. And we got the moo-moos. We got the Tauruses. I'm sorry, Taurus. I didn't even realize that I made the same noise for the crazy alien battleships of War of the Worlds and that with you. So I'll give you a true moo. Let's see what's going on, Taurus, with you this week. You did pull, right? Ooh, you were dropping cards. It was upright, though. It was temperance upright. So, yeah, you're looking for what the beautiful thing is in life that's natural. I feel like after last week especially, the reading was kind of different. I would say that, as a Taurus, I think that's how you are. You need things to naturally kind of develop. And I would say at the same time, like, you're looking for things that are really going to be long-lasting and natural and mesh well together. You can't force things that aren't going to be forced. I mean, this Mars retrograde is going to be in your 12th house. Like, so at the same time, the temperance is a little bit takes too long. Are you taking too long? Or did you put a lot of energy into something and then it didn't work out? Now you're, okay, I'm going to wait the billions of years it takes to make the earth. So there's something about the temperance, like, it's a beautiful card, but there's also this kind of like patience. And I would say with Mars retrograde in your 12th, it's like, I don't know why I'm feeling this, but it's like, Taurus, are you more addicted to holding back than building something beautiful? And you're only willing to go into things that are not beautiful? It's kind of a weird question there. You did pull the intention card as your challenge. And I think that that's the issue, is I think that, you have intentions set, but you don't follow them. It's like you're waiting for the intention to come when intention is something to act upon. You did pull the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So you've stopped the story of your love life. Why? Maybe you think that you need to change the intention, or maybe you've made the intention, it shows up and there's a self-worth fear of moving the journey forward of love. I feel like this is a lot of Tauruses afraid of the next chapter and wanting it to look beautiful. Of course. I don't know a Taurus who doesn't want it to be beautiful. It's still going to be beautiful, but don't stop the journey of love if something didn't work out or you still have issues over a past situation. And there's a challenge about it. Maybe you have no intention. Maybe, it's just like, oh, hopefully love works out. It's like, no, set that fucking intention strong. That shadow around that intention is the black flower fragrance. I mean, learning, how to attract and also show up. I think that, this is the shadow of not showing up. Not showing up for what the real intention that you really want to, and knowing how to attract that in. Like, it's not attractive when you don't show up. There's nothing more attractive than when you even talk to somebody to date and they give you like all this and then you don't show up. Like, or I think that this is about the vulnerability and saying it's okay to show that you're afraid, especially with Knight of Pentacles reversed. Like, I'm afraid, I'm stuck on the journey, I need to get moving again. Sometimes a relationship or a date or something can get you to push you to keep moving again. Sometimes, Tauruses need pushing, like get the cow stuck in the mud, right? The Temperance card came up because you did get the Judgment upright. Wow. I mean, I think that it is about, there is in your love life this calling that is showing up, that there's a higher calling in your life, and there's definitely love that's attached to it. And it is a beautiful thing, and that's nothing to be terrified of overall. That's nothing to be scared of overall. If anything, I think that it's something that's more necessary. I don't think that, the temperance is this understanding that how the earth can naturally comes together, and there's the beautiful flow of the water from the angel always. But I would say that that's a two-part system. Like, it's like a many-part system, but it's definitely two-part. It's God and the universe coming together. It's nature and God coming together. It's, there's something that this, and then the Judgment too is also the call from the higher up and the resurrection of bringing you up to a higher calling. And so are you missing a higher calling because you're not following the intention, know how to attract in, not knowing how to show up to it? And why did you get this Knight of Pentacles in reversed? Oh, you're afraid because of feeling victimized or feeling that... I would say that there's a self-worth thing here. You know, maybe you feel like, well, maybe you got a zit, or maybe, you know, you got something here that's affecting your value and worth. This is the victim card. And so you're stuck in some sort of victim story, and it might be something small like, you know, oh, I don't look that great, or I'm nervous, or I gained a couple pounds, or whatever it might be. Like, that's the intention you keep setting by owning that story, and without knowing what the outcome might be with Jupiter direct in the 9th. You have to go on the expedition to see what the outcome is instead of think that you already know it. And well, how funny, you did put Venus in the 3rd house in Cancer. I mean, in order for you to understand the emotions of a relationship, like there is this element with Venus here, like being like, yeah, I mean, you have to like see it physically, emotionally, and that's the only way to understand anything. So there is a lot of showing up with Venus in Cancer because you have to feel the physical, and you have to actually show up, and you have to communicate, and that's the only way you're going to understand anything, not trying to plan out too much either. Like, this is not a planned out energy. Like, I would say that this brings spontaneity to emotionally feel in much more of a curiosity way, and that I think would help you understand if the intention's close or not, because I feel that you're really off on intention, and you're really off on showing up for the intention too.
It's like that age-old saying, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You know, in this term, it would be the bull. You know, is it not maybe looking like you thought it would be? You know, or it's caught you by surprise. Usually, you're used to going to this pasture, but now you're in another one. You know, and it can look completely different. And you're trying to hold out for some reason. You know, you're trying to fight the universe. You know, you're going against the jazz, so to speak. You know, as we touched on. But it's about knowing that you're in the right place. It's about knowing that you are the right person. It's about knowing that you are that energetic force that can bring anything into your life and that you can appreciate it, the good, and it's going to turn to great if you abide by it, if you actually put in that energy to bring in that great and not fighting against it, you know? Allow yourself to let go. Allow yourself to be free within yourself and within that relationship and within the love of the universe.
Boom. I think that you said it best. You can't lead a horse to water. You can't teach...
No dog, new tricks.
Well, I would say that this is more the one, like, you can't, you know, like, learning to go for what you need in life, right? Like that, like, you know, like, tricks for a dog sometimes is like, okay, they're set in their ways, but at least they know how to get the water. I would say that this is like, you know, teaching people how to fish and show up to fish, you know, like, I don't know. I just feel that there's a lot that's great. That's just by showing up. I mean, I can understand with Mars retrograde in the 12th house. That's not fun. I've been there. I have been there. And, yeah, Taurus, like, when you get to the darkest spots, because ironically enough, this is like bringing up PTSD for a lot of Tauruses of like where they were for the last decade, but it's trying to cut that out. So it's like, let go of that, thinking it's all going to replay the old story again. The only way it will replay the old story again is you being kind of stuck in owning that story by staying away from the world and saying that it destroyed you, like that, and that's the intention. That's why this is like a mind fuck for Taurus. Is like, well, all I have to do is just keep showing up to the world and realize it's never going to happen again that way. And I just have to let that old. This is identification of victimization or going through hell that has to be removed. And that only happens when you show up to something that is not hell. And let that be.
Let it be, oh, let it be.
And we got the twins, the Geminis, that follow right after Taurus.
Boom. 1, 2, 3. Do it.
Life is a lot. So, Taurus is very singular and very, boom. And then it breaks apart into Gemini. That's why the antennas run. So if you look at Venus glyph, right, there's no antennas. It's just Venus. But when you add the antennas to it, now you get Mercury, right? So are your antennas working right now, Gemini? And Taurus is like, don't get lost in being mental when you need to be physical. And Gemini's right now, 6 of Cups upright. This is a good card. It's a card of finding peace and tranquility and fun. But it also is a card of memories. If you notice her, she's drinking her goblet of blood, looking out the window with her snake. Remember when you were a little snake and you used to be out in that garden before I strangled you and brought you in here and trapped you? I would say that this is a great card. Mars retrograde for Geminis is in the 11th house of people and associations in the world that you're stepping into, the squares to your 8th house and trust and all that. So, and this is Virgo. This is emotional times and your long-term goals. I think that there's a lot of memories that are coming up, but also it's about focusing on what's going to bring you good memories. And I think that, there's an issue here, though, let's say, about like how memories affect you in your relationships. You still holding on to old memories? Or are you still trying to also live by old memories? I think that like that friendship role is very important with Geminis, but don't get like so caught up to where like you're trying to make love to your cousin now. I'm not saying that that's literal, but I'm just saying like usually the card of 6 of Cups is like the brother and the sister, the cousins, or, that young best friend you had, as a kid that you hang out with. Like, I think that, Geminis are only feeling safe around things that feel very friendly, but it also is like, that's all it really is. It's like, there's got to be something more here. You're afraid of, you want the depth, but you can't have that with like this kind of too lighthearted. It's a very light-hearted memory card. It's not like it's a lightweight, put it that way. And I think that you need heavyweight. You did pull the Fool card as your challenge card. And I think that this is kind of Gemini's kind of singing and dancing and not knowing where the fuck things are going and trying to keep things too light and not trying to get too heavy, although they feel empty. They feel like stupid about it. Your overall here is the 6 of Swords upright. Yeah, you need to go to this is the taking the boat to new waters. That's better. Interesting what's in the water there. Little ducky. This is definitely a good card. But I would say that you have to move into the new waters and leaving kind of the light Fool kind of, I'm just having a good time, but I'm not really having depth. I'm not paying attention to the depth that's there. There's definitely this awesome new place to go, especially for Geminis right now. Like, this is a time of like all this Capricorn squaring over to Mars. Like, you're missing out on the world by fear of depth. Your shadow with the Fool card is obsession. You're obsessed with keeping things very kind of typical Gemini, light, airy, and fairy. That's chill, but like you're missing out on the obsession of something depth, or you're missing out on something deep. There's something. This is like very too much. Like you've escaped to a place of safety, yet there's nothing that's great that's there. It's not bad, but it's light and not heavy. It's like eating appetizers 24/7 and not having the real course. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Wow, Why'd you get this Six of Cups? You pulled the Strength reverse. You're afraid to move into any story that doesn't feel like it's safe. Like she's safe. She's safe so much in the garden, or in this case, in her vampire castle with her little snake and her goblet of blood. But there's no strength in that. It's like weak. You're playing weak in love, Gemini. Playing weak. Too afraid to take the better boat to the better place. Wow, you pulled 2 strength card reverses. Now you're afraid to even take the boat. You just want to stay in like a suspended state of disconnection. And that's the Uranus thing. That a state of disconnection is actually not a genius. A state of deep connection and bringing it all together is what brings the genius, which brings depth and light and all parts. You can't try and just live life in one-dimensional way. You got to incorporate all the shadows, the light, the colors, the emotions, the everything. There's something about like you thinking that you're smart by playing things a certain way. But I think that because the Fool's underneath this overall and everything, and your challenge, I would say that you're not the genius by staying in a suspended, disconnected state. It's when you get into a dropped in, connected state that is the true genius of connection and radicality. And that's the rebellion to bring the freedom you're looking for. Because I think that you feel more trapped in a, you know how they're putting bubble wrap around kids today and shit? Mm-hmm. It's like there's too much bubble wrap around you, Gemini. And that's not attractive. I'm going to be honest with you. Marilyn Monroe had no bubble wrap around her when she jumped out of a cake. You know. You did pull Taurus moon in the 7th house. So yeah, you're definitely dealing with the need and the want to feel physically, and also, you know, you're emotionally taking your time to process and feel the security that you need in romantic and relationship wise. And that's not necessarily bad. But I would also say that, you know, as a fellow moon in Taurus, I have moon in Taurus, that, you know, we can get very stuck in our ways. We can also be very slow to get to things. We're late. So maybe this is just you realizing that you're late to the party to get to what you really want, but you know, you get there. So I'd say that, you know, but if these strength card reverses are going to rule you, which a moon in the 7th house in Taurus would not be strength reversed. It would be the strength to do things because it knows the value of what's there. I think that this is a re-examination of your subconscious holdbacks emotionally about what's valuable about relationships, and putting those values that maybe aren't that valuable of fear, and associating values that really are not possible to understand unless you go in the relationship, and they might not actually happen. That these are underlying your issues with a balancing act of what values in relationships are not in alignment for the better.
Yeah, and playing the fool is going to guarantee that you miss a boat. It's going to guarantee that you are not standing in your truth. You know, you're going to believe that you don't have the strength to succeed. You're going to believe that you don't have the strength to be worried to hold up within a relationship. You know, you cannot continue to play the fool. You know, you have to go out on that journey, though. You have to go out and believe. But you can't be naive, and you can't have a distrust within yourself and your own true power that you hold. You know, if you actually really want it, you have to tap into that strength, you know, and it's not going to come from any outside source. It's going to come only from you. It's going to come from your heart. It's going to come from your wants and desires. But are you actually going to sit back, or are you going to continue to play the fool, you know, and just let that wash away and say, no, I'm not worthy, or no, I don't have that strength to succeed? You do. You do. But you have to tap into that, and you have to actually believe that you're worthy of it.
Yes, you do. And you know, missing the boat ain't fun.
Nope.
Especially if we're using the whole analogy of War of the Worlds, like, and they didn't get on that boat, then they would have made it on the other side. And if they would have made it on the other side, they would have been, ain't no party like a what? mean, you whispered it. Unless we're having a whisper party this week for Scorpios. I don't know.
Cause ain't no party like Scorpio party, baby. Ooh.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on with Scorpio.
Sex.
We got the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So, I mean, this is a card that's dealing with the self, dealing with the value of self, and knowing how to attract in all it wants. It's like, I think this is a card to remember to know what your needs are and not lose them for sure all the way. Because sometimes the 9 of, I would say that all times the 9 of Pentacles in reversed is, not putting your own self first and getting everything that you need. You could sometimes maybe pull out of yourself and put the needs of others first, and then start losing your needs, which don't attract the world that you want. Especially with Mars retrograde in the 6th house. Yeah, this is about the world that you want specifically. So, but if you give away everything and you have needs in your world, then it creates massive frustrations. And so you're very clear on what those are. Don't watch them fade away through giving it away. Your challenge card would be the Beware card. I would just say, beware of giving yourself too much away, or not standing your ground for what your needs are and staying on those needs, or giving away needs that actually are vital to your survival in many ways, The overall card we got here is the 9 of Cups. So I would say that this is a good card for overall. Man, there's a lot of positive with it, because this is the card where it finds all the emotions that you want to fulfill in your life to feel fulfilled. But beware of giving anything away so you don't feel overall that there's something missing in yourself, by giving too much away or changing too much. I don't think that this means that you have to change, especially we're in Virgo. This is you and your world. It's going to oppose Neptune in your 5th. So there's going to be your world against your romantic life, right? That's Neptune in the 5th, your ruler of the 5th. With the sun, that's going to be here in this Virgo in opposition. And with Jupiter direct for you in your 3rd house, like, this has been 3.5 months where it's like, re-examining a lot in your head. But when it comes direct, it's like, oh gosh, like, okay, like, I know exactly the environment you need to be around and so forth. And that Mars retrograde in the 6th definitely deals with a lot of like, okay, the lifestyle that I want. Don't retreat on things that you wouldn't want to give away for the life that you want to have. That's the beware. The shadow of that beware is the temple of my body. So it could be anything doing with your body, or anything that has to do with anything in your life that brings you solace. Like, beware of not giving that stuff away. It's your life. Beware of giving part of your life away. Like something that you really like a lot. And kind of like, because I think it'll just bring you a lot of pain. You pull the Ace of Cups in reverse. It's almost like to fill a hollow emotional position, you're willing to give something away. And that could be out of a partner, that could be out of yourself. But there's definitely something here that's not fully, the waters are not flowing. This is when you see the fountain and there's no water in it and the pump's going and the pump's about to burn out. So it's like, well, let's just jimmy rig it with something here. You know what I mean? Or I'll stop doing this or whatever. It's like, don't hold your values here. Like the issues that might be going on of where the emotions aren't really going to the full place that want to be gone are really not of something that you need to give away in order to bring more emotion. If anything, it's more of you showing up fully, or the other person needing to show up more fully in acceptance of the value of who you are, instead of giving it away. Like, I'm just going to give away something, or I'm going to stop doing something that I don't want to do, or I do want to do. Like, that would just be hell. The reason why you pulled that 9 of Cups is the Emperor. Yeah, this is you having, your only good luck is by doing fucking you fully. Nobody tells the Emperor, don't have a lion in there, or don't have crows looking in the window. You don't go into that room and just start going, maybe, that's a gross fucking throne. I don't like that seat. Like, can you get rid of it? I'd like it a lot better. And it's like, no, with the Nine of Cups, with the Emperor, your only true happiness is when you are accepted fully and you own exactly what you need in your life. And, it's when somebody's asking you to stop doing something. Or to pull away something from you. Because anytime you pull that Nine of Pentacles, it's willing to give away something of value, which is the only thing that attracts the bird to the Nine of Pentacles. Oh, wow, you pulled that North Node. Well, that North Node always gives us that aim, but it also is Rahu, right? And it is, your own life's purpose has to come first. And if something is trying to take away from your life's purpose, well, that's not going to be a good space to give away. It is with the beware, and it is with the temple of your body. It's like, pay attention to where the warning signs are, things where it doesn't feel like, that's not part of your life's purpose. Don't be shifting your life's purpose right now based upon giving away something that's of you. Leo, Mars in the 10th. Wow. I mean, I don't know how much more clear with the Emperor card, this is your life, your command that makes you happy. Don't ever apologize for your brute and strong strength of the life and the love that you have for yourself and what makes you happy in your life. Don't ever give away something that makes you happy on your destiny. It's your destiny. This is your path. This is your life. Don't ever get rid of something. Mars and Leo in the 10th it does not give away something that, you don't negotiate. This is not a week for negotiation for you, especially with Mercury in your 12th house in Libra. There's no negotiations. It's like, no, sorry, I'm staying on this course. This is my world, opposed Neptune. There's going to be complications with that. Like, you don't need to change your world in order to make some sort of delusional situation happen. It's more like, why is it not working? It's not by giving away something. It's about maybe something else that you have to figure out. But not giving away yourself and anything that you are.
Yeah, this is reaffirming who you are, Scorpio. I think that you said it directly. You know who you are. You know your wants. You know your desires. Are you going to let that piece of you die? No, we can't. As a Scorpio, it needs to be what it is. It's that black and white aspect of it. It's that in or out, that yes or no. Do you feel it? Good. Get it. If you're not feeling it, then pull out. If you know that there's pieces of you that your partner is not going to accept, then it's not going to work. If you know that there are pieces of you that, I spoke about it earlier, in a relationship, you have to make it fit. There's going to be some compromises, but compromises doesn't mean forgetting who you are. It doesn't mean forgetting your past, and that foundation that you've built this life off of. So stand strong in that, stand strong in your convictions and knowing who you are and progress forward and let that individual into your life. And if they want to be a part of it, then great. If they don't, then, then it is what it is. But at least you always have yourself and you know who you are.
Yeah, because you don't need to negotiate. Okay, I'll get rid of that I like to wear black socks because that scares you and it puts black lint in the bed or something. Like, if you really like to wear black socks, there's something, it reminds me of Pee Wee Herman. He had his outfit. If you told Pee Wee Herman, do you think you could change costumes? Pee Wee Herman would actually fucking take you in the fucking back and look at you and be like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? That ain't happening. You know what I mean? Or even when I was on True Beauty, I worked with Penn and Teller and I had to do a magic trick for them. And we were with them for the whole day at the Rio and all this shit. And I had to hang out in their private stuff where we shot. And, Teller like talks in real life. Like, you know, there's that whole thing that like Teller is mute, right? But he's not mute. But he actually talks more. And he's actually really cool.
Right.
And that was what was tripping me out while I was in there. Like, you know, his whole thing is he doesn't say a word. But that would be like telling him to start talking, even though that, like, he's a talker in life. But, or that'd be asking him to be mute because he's mute on the show when he's really not a mute, if that makes sense. Like, you don't give away something that works, that's natural. Like, and you don't try and change also Penn and Teller in the way that they do their magic trick show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, of course, I would have been kicked off the show if I said that. I went with their trick and I did it exactly the way I wanted to. They actually fucking told me I was pretty good at it. I wasn't like the best because, of course, I didn't have big boobs or something like that. But hey, I get it. You know, I mean, they were two dudes. Like, of course, they like the girls doing it. But you know what I mean? Like, you don't go into a room like that and start telling them like, hey. So you don't talk out there, but you talk in here. Like, maybe you should start talking out there. You don't try and you just accept people for what they fully are here. You know, and Scorpio, don't give away that. Because that's like everything.
Never.
You know, one thing about you is to receive what accepts you as a weird Scorpion. Or if you want to go to the truth of Scorpio, it is the red, right? With the black in the sky and Taurus in the background. So it's like the red light district. Like right now in the Netherlands, there's a debate because of this whole weird CV thing that's happened. And so travelers are not coming in, and 70% of the industry in the Netherlands comes from the red light district and tourism. So they're actually thinking of trying to get rid of that red light district, but that's kind of what Amsterdam and the Netherlands has been about, is accepting of people's truths and who they are. I mean, it's the first place in the world where, you know, weed or, you know, even you can go take mushrooms there and shit. Like, you just accept it for what it is. You don't just try and come down and say, no, you know what, we're not going to accept that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, when you give away that kind of stuff, then who's going to want to go to the Netherlands anymore? When you start to turn the Netherlands, and this is by not trying to be turned into somebody or not. And if we use countries, are you going to make the Netherlands like England? No. You know? So I can talk about these things because I'm Dutch and I have family in Holland still. So if you ain't Dutch, you ain't much. And if somebody tried to tell me not to say that, well, fuck you. The Aries.
Aries, come on down.
Come on down.
To Funky Town.
To Funky Town. Well, that's a big time for them. Mars Retrograde. Fuck. Ooh.
Ooh, doggy. Well,
I just love reading this chat. Like, blows my mind.
what's it saying over there? Anything good?
Dark world looks like holy hell in Oregon and California with those fires we're getting. Smoke up in Canada.
That is true. It's in Lake Tahoe also.
You know, at the same time last year, the Amazon was on fire. Do you care about that right now? Go watch my 2020 prediction. I'm like, you know, everybody's all frantic about the Amazon fires. Like, they ain't gonna matter when 2020 comes. Oh. Fall for the media. Just keep buying the tricks they keep selling. Just keep buying all the tricks. All right, let's see what's going on for the Aries. The Lover's card. Wow, you're in a definite hot, lovey situation here.
Feeling hot, hot,
Wow.
hot.
I haven't pulled this card yet out of this deck.
It's nice.
Very nice. Love is on the mind for Aries. Or the touch of love has happened here. And this is where, what is going on with the love story here? You got to figure it out. The challenge with this is greed. Ooh, okay. Ooh. Woo. Why don't you get a little bit of love? Like, how much are you willing to, are you willing to take too much for it? Yeah, are you going to demand too much? I would say that, with Mars retrograde in your sign, like, you can't fight or demand too much for love. The squares to Capricorn, you got to keep it like, there's expectations that need to be met and that they can. But I think that when you ask for too much, you're not, it almost could push things away. So greed is not the good thing for you when it comes to this love situation right now. Don't try and take too much. Something is already beautiful as it is. You don't need to fucking try and push it over the edge. You pulled the Hangman reverse, so you definitely feel like you're out of a lot of stuck situations. I would say that, this is a great week. Just watch your gauge on how much you're trying to ask for and demand for. Because you don't want to hang yourself. You're free to move about the cabin. Don't lose that freedom. You know what I mean? By asking the flight attendant for like 4 bottles of Jack. You know what I mean? It's like, we're only allowed to give you 1 at a time. And no, I want 4 now. You know what I mean? Like, go sit down. It's like, oh, shit. Oh, you got the colorless angel. So I think that, I think that you've been really not in really good love situations for a long time. So of course I think that there's a natural thing to try and like, once you have something, it's like, oh my God, fill me up with color. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, don't overdo all the colors yet. I mean, if you watch, an Art to Life with Kim Tabay on High Vibe about how you use color, you don't need to use as much as you think to make a painting, you know what I mean? Like, and especially when you're making like anything where you're kind of fading other colors and stuff, too much color is too much, right? So there's this, like, you have enough. Explore what that is opposed to, well, I want more, like how far, to fill up something fast. It's like, if you hadn't eaten in 2 days, or there's a good example, frostbite. If you have frostbite, you actually don't go under hot water with your hands. The first thing you do is actually go under like more room temp or cold water because it's going to be way warmer. Because too hot on frostbite is bad. So you slowly build up the heat to it opposed to like just instant fucking I want it all right now and asking for too much and bam. Could push something away. We'll see right here with the Lover's card. You did get the 4 of Wands. I mean, so there's definitely a very fucking powerful, loving, emotional, awesome situation. This is like the marriage celebration. There's a lot to celebrate about. How you deal with that celebration is everything. When it comes to the Hangman reversed, we did get the Star card. So, I mean, you're at a complete fresh new state, and don't hang yourself by the past. Don't, and I would say, try and stay open. Like, this is like where you just stay open to how things go and not trying to fill up the emptiness that you've had by doing stupid things. Like, don't fuck up really good situations right now. This is really good. So it's on you on how you fuck it up. I don't know. It's kind of pretty clear, actually. I mean, it's pretty simple. And look at that. You got the Taurus I have. So yes, you have it, but how much of it are you going to have? Or, how much are you going to try to demand for too much of what you want or what you have, so know the value of what you have and know where that value, I mean, you don't go buy something. You don't go buy a new Apple computer and then call them up and be like, I want you need to give me this shit too. You guys took an extra day of shipping, so you need to send me an extra charger and you need to send me this. It's like, okay, excuse me? People will ask for more than what is available. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that this is for you. You don't need to ask for more. Like, you've got it all. Like, celebrate that. And you'll realize that the celebration of what you already have is the ultimate. You did pull Capricorn, second house, Saturn. So yeah, I mean, this is definitely knowing your values and knowing how to have control over them, but also utilizing the value of what you have and extending it out as great as you can. Like, sure, Saturn and Capricorn can be conservative, but I would say it's more about, okay, like, you filled up a bunch of things that you want romantically, okay? Like, how do you segment out in order and properly to build something beautiful? Like, you just don't. There's a lot about where you can still have the push to make it feel like it's going in an intense positive direction, but this is definitely not where you try and like over burn it out so fast by demanding too much or by pushing it too hard to build something. Or even, you know, understanding the value of something is understanding the value of something and not trying to control that value system of what you have, but to see the empowerment of that value system and utilize it as it is.
Yeah, I like that we said, because, you know, like, know that you have it. Like, know that the appreciation is there. But you can't force your feelings, or you can't force, like, your ideals of what you think a relationship needs to look like. You know, just kind of go with the flow, because it takes two to tango. You know, if you force that, your dancing partner might get cold feet and then just walk out on you, and that wouldn't be beneficial to anybody in the party, you know, because there is that appreciation there. But there's a fine line between showing what you want, you know, and knowing your worth, and forcing your ideals on someone. So it's that fine line that you need to walk, you know, by showing that love, showing that appreciation, and receiving the love and appreciation that individual is willing to give you at that moment, or is capable of giving you at that moment, you know. And that's something else they have to realize, if it's not going to be enough for you too. That's something they have to look at. If it's not going to be enough for you, that appreciation is not enough. You know, there's asking for it, there's showing it, but at the end of the day, there's only so much energy that an individual can give you. And, you know, if it's not enough at the end of the day, then it's not, you know. But if it's something that you can work with, if it's something that you can work towards, then definitely stick it out and definitely continue putting that love forward.
Definitely.
Most definitely. That was one of the better Aries readings in a very long time.
It was. We got the opposite Libras. We're almost through here.
I think we're about halfway through.
If you're a Virgo, if you're an Aquarius, if you're a Cancer, and if you're a Leo, and
Yeah, we're halfway through.
yeah.
Libra.
See what's going on with you, Libras. Well, you got the 8 of Swords upright. This is the toxic card. What's toxic? I mean, Mars retrograde in your 7th house of relationships is a big deal, especially being a Libra, okay? Jupiter direct in your 4th house is emotional. Like emotional toxicity, pushing emotional situations that just aren't right. This is definitely a card to be aware of ending up, or that you have realized that you were in a toxic situation. And toxic can also mean that you're just not, you know, you feel trapped when you're not. You did pull the High Priestess reverse, so it's like not following. It is like being in a war meeting and like, here's this, the High Priestess. Like, well, I recommend, even though you guys have this plan, like, or you have this plan, listen to this, look at this sign, look at this sign. Like, it's like, oh no, I don't want to look at anything. I'm just going to kind of, it's okay for it to be toxic. Like, Spirit's trying to like help you out, and you are almost like not paying attention to it. Or you just maybe, if you're single, you just have trapped yourself into, are you going to give yourself anything good? Or if you're in a partnership too, are you going to give yourself anything good here? You're in Virgo, you're in your 12th house, so this is a lot of clearing going on right now. You have the 10 of Swords upright, the same thing that keeps happening over and over again. Look at it in this 10 of Swords. It's like the swords are just being broken through the window, and like, is that, yeah, it's like a creepy person coming out of the fucking, the dead person coming out of the chimney. Like, it's like the window keeps cracking or breaking. It's like, or, you know, it's kind of like, I don't know. That's a crazy card. I would say that, why do you keep going through the same repetitive pattern of just denying yourself of great things, creating something toxic within yourself by not following your intuition or trying to control things without listening to your intuition? I just feel that it's like putting yourself in some really weird places that you don't like, and continuing to do that needs to end this week. Like, it has to end. You pulled the forgetting oneself and the spiritual things that you need to bring in. It's like, oh no, in order to be myself, I don't need to listen to this whole spiritual thing. It's like, what? You're listening too much to not yourself through the spiritual core of what you need. It's like, I have to go through this bullshit. No, you don't. No, you don't. You pulled the King of Pentacles with that Eight of Swords. You know, the only way to get out of toxic energy is to go for the very best and to know the very best and to have it and to step forward into it and to build something that's from that beautiful place instead of kind of there's a lot of half-ass energy here. Like, oh, well, you know, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing and maybe something will show up, or I'm not going to show up fully. Like, I'm just going to stay kind of bound and trapped. Like, I'm not going to put value into I don't want to be bound and trapped anymore. Like, and you also got to own your worth. You got to kind of lay down your, you know, like, yo, I'm laying it down. Like, this is how it is, yo. Or, hey, I need this in my life. Like, I haven't been going towards anything. Like, I need to do something to fill me up that I have the values that I want. Instead of staying in the toxic waters of things that aren't bringing you value, or just like partners that aren't doing shit or anything like that. Why do you have that 10 of Swords? You got the 6 of Swords in reverse. You don't want to go across the river to greatness, and it's like you're addicted to the pattern of the same thing right now. You think that actually it's okay. You can I would say that this is creating excuses. Like, oh, you can blame it on outside sources, I would say. Like, well, look at the world today, so I have to go through this. Or, you know, yeah, I mean, it's not that great, but one day it'll get better. Or, you know, I'm not, you know, God, there is such another road that is so much better for you right now. And I think that Mars is going to kick you in the butt and say, hey, in opposition to you, like, listen, you need to get what you really want for relationships, but you're going to have to redirect what that identifies as and taking courage to do it. Your overall that you pulled here is the fire element, desire. I mean, it's like, yeah, if the desire is not there, or you're not going towards desire, there's a problem. That's your issue, is like the desires that you need, you're bound into not having desires because you're not going to own them. You're not going to show up for oneself. You're not going to listen to the spiritual universe, and you're not going to take the boat to a new place that is the repetitive pattern of not receiving the full desires that you want. You did pull Pluto in Sag in the 10th house. Or sorry, that's the what house? That's the 9th. Wow. It is time for a whole new story. A whole new look at things. Whole new adventure. A whole new destroying of a story too. Like this story needs to end of whatever you've been doing for love. And it's time to adventure, and it's time to open up the doors to something different and explore what could change here. You need to go through extreme new possibilities and to not be afraid of that at the same token.
Yeah, because our past is the foundation of our life, you know, but these past relationships don't need to necessarily define you. They don't need to define your future. You know, you're a new individual. Yes, that's a part of you always, but you have to be able to build on it. You have to be able to grow, and you can't just continue to get stuck in this thought process of, okay, this is what I'm worthy of because this is the relationships that I've had in the past. You know, it's time to break those chains, so to speak, you know, if we're going to stick with the mother of dragons.
Yes.
It's a new day, you know.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day.
Life. So you can't forget those relationships. You can't forget that past, but it does not define you. It does not define your future. You can have whatever relationship it is that you want. A healthy relationship, a kinky relationship, any relationship, whatever seems fitting to you at this time.
Sex doll relationship. I mean, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. Whatever's floating your boat.
Capricorns. Oh, at least, you know what? It took a while to get to that place where I was like, all right, Craig threw out the kinky relationship thing. Mm-hmm. You know, whatever that expedition is.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Let's see what's going on with you, Capricorns. My Cappies. Wow, you did get the Lord of Grails, which is the King of Cups upright. This is about mounting your horse to the emotional place you want to go in your life. Woo! So, but this is about knowing that have control over your feelings and to direct the feelings in exactly the place that you want to go. Like, awesome card. Are you going to do anything about it? Are you going to ride your true feelings? Let's see. I mean, you know, Mars retrograde for you is definitely happening in your 4th house of emotion. So, re-identifying your courage and your emotion to do what you need to do because it's squaring Capricorn in your sign. You did pull the Hermit card as your challenge. So, yeah, you know what? Oh my gosh, it's time to leap out of this kind of the old person that's, trying to play it safe, and I know all everything. Yeah, lately I've been making different Herman noises, but I'll make a new Herman noise. Well, actually, it's not new. I just, and Virgos got mad when I said it was crotchety. Well, I said, I need to get to my feelings instead of being this, I'm not getting my feelings. Huh. Well, you did put the Three of Pentacles upright. It's time to go build something beautiful. But you got to take that leap towards that emotionally, and you can't hermit yourself. The hermit actually has to come and work with people and has to come. So there's a lot about just, I would say for Capricorns, like you need to get back into connecting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and having like actual connection. Like it's not going to work if you don't have like connection. By just kind of standing back. I feel that there's a lot for Capricorns that are standing back in their partnerships and don't know what to do, all the way to, I don't know, fucking if you're single, not even showing up or just kind of hanging in the background or addressing what you want to leap into emotionally. Your challenge with that Hermit card is the anger and chains. You feel chained by being, I don't want this emotionally. I'm going back into the woods and I'm going to sit there. No, I would not do that. Or I'm going to just I'm going to lay in bed and read a book. I'm not going to go enjoy love anymore. Like, okay, how long have you been doing that one for? Or the best is when you watch on a movie and you see a couple that's not really working out that great. And they, they're both reading books in the bed and then they just go, good night, and close off the lights. Are you really doing that? And are you doing that even if you're single to yourself? Like, you're like, I'm just going to sit at home and I'm going to just read my book and go to bed. Even though you're on a dating app or you're talking to somebody and you're like, oh, no, I can't hang out. I'm really busy with my book. Probably some fucking 50 Shades of more than gray. Oh, Seven of Cups in reverse. So, gosh, it's like you've narrowed down the dreams that you want. Why don't you go towards it? I think that you've seen all the prizes that could be had. Or, I'll be honest, we could flip this, right? Because Seven of Cups reversed. Maybe you're not dreaming big enough. And there's a lot of possibilities with the King of Cups to totally go in direction of, hey, there's a lot of feelings and there's a lot of prizes. But gosh, are you the old man that's like telling the kids like, oh, you got all those tickets at, well, they call it boomers, and I think they all went out of business during CV here, but or Bullwinkles back in the day. But what are the rolling balls things called where you go up, roll the ball and it goes into 100, or you get the tickets, and then you go to the little fucking thing and you get a toy? Ski ball, that's right. It's like, are you that crotchety old, don't use your tickets, God, go get the fun dip. My favorite thing about tickets was Fun Dip. Like the big pack with the 2 big Fun Dips and then the big, and if you didn't eat that Fun Dip stick, who were you? Crotchety old kid? Seven of Cups upright. So you got 2 Seven of Cups, 1 reverse and 1 upright. Wow, this is like the whole, I would say that this is a dynamic. You want to go build the ultimate dream life of love and happiness, but it's almost like I think that you are not emotionally willing to kind of go towards those dreams. I think that you are chaining yourself and getting frustrated by being that's going to be the way. Every time better get ready. When the Hermit card pops out, that is not a fun card, and that's your challenge card this week, Capricorn. God, it's like you're restricting yourself from greatness. I mean, talk about what do they call it? No FAP or whatever. When
what is that?
When you don't come for a month or whatever.
Oh, edging?
Well, they don't even do that. But it's like they don't even it's like they don't even pleasure themselves for a month or 2. I feel like you've done that for a year. You pulled the Leo card. You need to go to the ultimate love and happiness and have the will for that in your life. I mean, there's amazing dreams possible for you, but I think that you're chaining yourself to kind of I need to stay in this thing and it has to look like that. And if you're sitting in bed, I don't know why my guides keep showing just people just stuck in their beds reading a book or fucking whatever it might be, and when you could be having the time of your life, or you're that partner next to you, it's like you look forward to going to bed, and the only way you get to the bed with that partner is having a book or having your laptop or whatever it might be. Like, God, that sounds fucking great. That sounds like a fucking party. Definitely no fun dip in that bed. No dipping.
Yeah, Belgium dip.
It's time to dip, not time to read. Or, I don't know why, if you're attached to a pet or an animal and that's your lover, like, God, that's one you see with people when they're going through a lot of fucking weirdness in their love lives. Is like, they don't know how to fucking, like, that's it. It's like, that's all they have. So they like, you know, it's like, really? Like, you know, like.
Did you do the dice?
Huh?
Dice? Did I miss the roll?
Oh, yeah, I did not pull the dice. Well, you too did get the 9th house, but you got an Aries and you got it with Mercury. So yeah, you know what? You need to be very clear and communicate what you want and be open to that. And also you have to try and understand the story to what you want it to look like, opposed to living in a story that you don't want to be in. Like, you know, the never ending story doesn't have to look the same. There's something about reading too. What are you reading, Capricorn? There's something about whatever you're reading or you're watching or that you need to look at some other different direction. I don't know why.
There's like a sense of timidness, you know?
Hesitation to
right?
the ultimate
it's like afraid
dreams.
of change, afraid of adapting to this new life, afraid of putting yourself out there, you know? It's like you're almost stuck with inside yourself, just replaying the same old story over and over and over, you know, instead of actually embracing it and actually putting in the change that you want. You know, you can read about the change, you can read about all these stories that you want, all this love that you want, but are you actually going to go out and grab it? Are you actually going to put the wheels in motion? You know, are you going to progress forward, or are you just going to sit there and keep replaying that same movie over and over and over, you know? At some point, you can only watch Happy Gilmore so many times, you know, before you know when he's about to go, snap. You know it. You need to take that. You need to be that gator. You need to go snatch someone's hand right off their arm.
Again, you need to go dip the fun in the fun dip.
Dip.
Cancers will dip in the fun dip, but
people.
Was it the right flavor? Capricorns won't go in the fun dip. That's the opposite signs for you. Let's see what's going on with Cancer right now. You did pull the Page of Swords in reverse, communication breakdown. Oh, she's hot, but reversed. So a lot of communication issues, Cancer, in your love life right now, or not saying things the way that you want to be said, or you're not being told what you want to be told, or you know, you need to get to the information here. But you know, I think that you have to put the effort in. I think if you're expecting the other party to communicate, not going to happen. Your issue and your challenge is the ritual card. I think that you've created a ritual off having a discommunicated relationship, where the communication's like, okay, yeah, you communicate, but the ritual is to like, I don't know why, because it's a challenging ritual. It's like oh no, we communicated about it, but we don't talk about it again. You know how partners will like, or if you're talking to somebody new or whatever, like you might be like, oh yeah, no, we're talking, but we're really not talking, because we bring it up and we say we're going to do something about it, but we don't. I feel like that's become a ritual here. Your overall card that you got is the Ace of Cups upright. So you definitely need to fill up the cups. You need to fill up the fun dip. Mars retrograde for you is in your 10th house. Time to make big decisions and squaring your Capricorn stuff in relationships. Holy shit. You know, like this is about like do or die emotionally. Do or die emotionally. Mercury is in your emotional house too. You have to communicate your real feelings here. Woo! Cancers! And did we get the envious gluttony over the ritual? What the fuck? Oh, I don't even know how to read this one. I would say that this would be a complete weird, very weird, like addictive, over, like putting so much power that some ritual that doesn't work, but it's like your go-to because you think it's gonna fulfill the job. But I think you're envious because you see that other people do other rituals that you're not willing to do, like breakups. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my ritual will work, but it's not working, Like, it's almost like fucking just thinking way outside the box into a space that doesn't work. Like, I don't know why. But God, how do they have the power to make that change in their life? Or, if it's a woman, right? Like that, she's such an empowered woman. Look what she did. Like, why can't you do that, Cancer? Well, you pulled the Ten of Swords with this communication breakdown. So this is your issue. I mean, you continue to do the same communication breakdown. Cancer, you guys are getting me out of all the signs. You got me all fired up here. Oh, fuck, really? Three of Swords with your Ace of Cups? You are emotionally fucking heartbreak city. You can't fix something and make a ritual and continue the ritual of the heartbreak anymore. I'm sorry. There you are, believing in things that 12th house, Pisces. Pisces is let go, by the way. It is peace. It is release. Because it's the heartbreak card, we will pull one card for that. We are using the TV deck. Let's see if television that rules the nation can save your life here for a while. I'm even giving you a little shuffle here, like, you know what I mean? I'm hooking the Cancers up here. Like, what is it going to be? The Eight of Wands upright. Wow, this is about moving into all new directions. The arrows of love. Where's the arrows of love really going? And if you're going to try and point the arrows of love into heartbreak, what was underneath that again? Ace of Cups upright. I mean, this is the dilemma. I think that Cancers see the ultimate love and they're envious of it, and they don't have the courage to go towards it. And you have to, and that's what makes you feel heartbreaking. Like, what do you think? Ugh, you got the third house, Sag, Mercury. Oh man, this is communication breakdown. Like, this is over hopeful, unfactual situations that need to be re-examined, because that's a detrimental Mercury when it's in Sag, but it's in the third house, meaning, yeah, you need to be more clear on the things that you've been over hopeful for that aren't going the way that you want to, and you need to communicate those things, and you can't keep this hope alive over facts that are not changing, and you've had time to see a change, and now Mars retrograde and Jupiter direct in your 7th house of relationships. New story. By making choices. Wow.
Yeah, that choice needs to be changed. Change the way, obviously, communication is key. How are you communicating? Are you communicating only from an emotional state, not from a logical state? Maybe your partner is a very logical thinker, and you just keep portraying your emotions. They might not get it, and you need to be able to change the way that you're getting that message out. The way that your partner is going to be able to receive it is going to be different. And it's about that change that you need to embrace. You need to embrace that belief that you can actually get that message out in a different way. It can be smothering when you just keep putting energy out in a certain way and the individual is not picking up on it. And then just feels like a ton of bricks just sitting on top of them, and they just don't get it, and that's fine, because it's like, it doesn't always fit. It doesn't always fit, you know. That's what is great about being an individual. You know, and then we all have that choice to change. We all have that choice to level up, and we all have that choice to kind of adapt and to bring in new aspects of our life and get that out there into the world. So I think it's an easy change if you're willing to put in that work. You know, not necessarily that change is always easy, but the steps are there to take. You know, communicate first, but look at the ways that you are communicating.
You have to look at the way that you're communicating, because I feel like this has been like over and over and over. 10 of Swords with this is nonstop fucking the same communication. That is communication breakdown. I think it was an REM song, Communication Breakdown. Maybe you need to listen to that one, Cancer. Let's see what's going on for you, the other signs. I'm wishing you my best. You did pull the Heartbreak card, and we are down to these last 3 signs here. And we did get Aquarius, and then we got Virgo, Leo as the last 2. Communicate, or maybe, you know what? No, is Communication Breakdown Led Zeppelin? Communications Breakdown.
Yeah.
It is, right? Maybe you got to get that old original Led Zeppelin out.
Yes, it is Led Zeppelin.
Bing, 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 bing. I don't know why I said REM, but sorry. I never want to associate REM with Led Zeppelin. I like REM, don't get me wrong, but if I had to choose between Led Zeppelin or REM, it would be Led Zeppelin every day. Let's make that one clear. That's not being communication breakdown, right? It's like, let me be clear. Okay, Aquarius, what's going on? 5 of Swords upright. The card of whether you're trying too hard or are you not trying hard enough. We're going to get deeper into that one. It is a card that shows up and definitely needs to fight for things or show up, or, you know, are you pushing your mind in a way that, you know, pushes everybody away? You don't want to push anybody away, okay? Aquarius, this is not about pushing anybody away. But at the same time, you still have to set the tone. I mean, Mars retrograde for you is in your 3rd house of communication. So communication is another part. Aquarians are going through a communication thing, astrologically speaking. With the squares to your 12th house of subliminal or subconscious communication, you did get the strength reversed here as your challenge. So I think that, yeah, maybe you don't have the strength to really, I would say, inside go through something. So maybe you're trying too hard with like some sort of false front. I only say that because we're Virgo in the 8th house. Like, this has to be revealing the truth in the depth. And I don't think that that's something that you have to force or scare people. I think that maybe you're afraid of scaring people and that you don't have the strength to reveal the truth. And you're afraid that people are going to walk away. That's what I'm getting from this. I think that your overall that you got here is the 3 of Swords in reverse. Yeah, I think that you're afraid of heartbreak when really it's like, it's quite opposite, right? When you have the strength to say what you really want to say, you know, you get clarity, and that's not heartbreaking because at least you get the truth. And truth is not heartbreaking. Heartbreak is emotion that can't handle the truth. The triumph of lies. Well, over that strength reverse, I think that you're telling yourself your own lies. Or you could have a partner that's just constantly, I don't know, not in their truth and disempowering you, and you're afraid to say something. Like, there's nothing worse in partnerships, and I see it all the time being an astrologer, right? Like, we know that one partner is the issue. They're not showing up. We know that they're bullshitting all of us. And then the partner that's partners with them doesn't call them out on it, but everybody else does. That's what I feel Aquarians are kind of going through. And I think single Aquarians are kind of like in a hard place right now where they have more strength than they realize. They have more skin in the game than they realize. And to not be afraid to show that skin. Don't be afraid to place that bet. It is 8th house sun opposed Neptune. Oh, we already picked that shadow, but I'm ditching that one. But we'll put it again. Why not? Fuck it. You pulled hiding your true self. You have skin in the game and you're not showing the skin. Page of Wands in reverse. Yeah, this is like uncomfortable conversations that are not going to come across fluffy, and you're afraid to say them about what you really want, even though it's like, or maybe you're expecting somebody else to say something, they're not saying something. I would say that for especially a lot of partnership situations in Aquarius. I think Aquarius are waiting for somebody to say something and they're not. And it's obvious that, there's something there, and you need to get to the bottom of it, and you can't be afraid of the heartbreak that comes to get a little bit deeper and a little bit more truthful here. Your Three of Swords reverse came with the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, like, you know what? When you show up with the offering of the value of what you have to say, of what skin you have to put in the game, of what you have to show up with and communicate with Mars retrograde now in your 3rd, squaring over your 12th, you're giving a great offering. Nothing can take you down. No heartbreak can come from knowing at least you said your value, you said your piece, you know what's going to bring you value. That's not heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when you don't show up, you don't say your values, you don't say what you need, and then that's fucked up. Then of course it's going to feel shitty. Don't accept what is not said, or what is being said that isn't truthful on another party or even yourself. You did pull the moon in Aquarius in the 12th. Ooh, wow. Yeah, this is definitely a lot of crazy, radical, subconscious, and hidden emotions coming out and popping up like fucking little gophers out of nowhere. Electrified gophers with tasers out of nowhere. Woo! That might be a little kinky. For the kinky relationship people out there, they might like that. Little gophers popping up, like a little taser. Sex. That's it. That's all I got for Aquarius. Be prepared for fucking weird shit.
I looked down that, yeah. We did the dice, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't do the overall.
I was
which
like,
is Scorpio transformation.
Something.
How funny that you're Scorpio and you felt something was there. You're like, I know my card's about to pop up for Aquarians. Like, yeah, fucking, it's time to change. It's time to get to the fucking truth. It's time to bring out the fucking transformation. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, I think that there's a lot of sexual issues going on fucking with Aquarians right now. I said it!
Sex. But are you ready to transform? Are you willing to let that freak flag fly just a bit? You can start at half mast. You don't need to dive all the way in right off the bat. But it might be a nice new avenue to seek out in that relationship. It might be a little extra spice to add to that rack of yours. You never know until you try it. Find that right partner, though, Yeah, I mean,
don't
just give it away to everybody out there.
You don't take a nail to a fucking brick wall and start turning it with a hammer.
You ease it in there.
That doesn't work.
Ease yourself into there. Get a little slip and slide. Add a little extra soap.
It's right.
It's
like a water slide. There's a little bit of water on the entry.
Yep.
And then you end up at the fucking pool when you get to the bottom of the slide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Woo! Bombay Blasters, baby.
Get a little bubble bath.
I mean, even the edge. You remember the edge? Fucking
the edge and the ledge.
Well, the ledge. I don't know which one was scarier. I thought the ledge was scarier because it was enclosed on the way down.
Yeah, I didn't like either one of those. They always fucking.
Well, let's be real. Whoever made that ride actually made it scary. And actually, when you did shoot off the edge, you would not be on the water slide anymore and land sideways and almost off the thing, and it would hurt. And then it was a deep, steep. Yeah, that ride was nuts.
Yeah.
You had to have some balls. I don't care. I remember there was kids that would be like, I'm not going on that ride. And I would never call them like, oh, you're a pussy. You're not going on the edge. I'd be like, yeah, don't worry. I go on that ride. And I have to be in that mood to be like, yeah, fucking like, let me get my knocker off. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I went a few times, but I don't know. I like the Congo, go down on the rafts.
I mean, Congo was awesome. And what was the other one that was, even the Abyss was chill.
Oh, Abyss was great. Surf Hill.
I mean, if you were like dating a chick or whatever, you took them on the Abyss because it got dark, and you get to ride the two with them.
Yep.
Very scorpionic like.
A little kiss,
like a little foggy in there with mist too. It was like
kiss action. Fog City, baby.
Oh, Wild Rivers.
Are we doing Virgo or?
Yeah, we're on. Well, it's Virgo, Leo. It's the last two. Let's see what's fucking gonna go on here. Is it gonna be Virgo or is it gonna be Leo that pops up first? It is. Oh, it is Leo. Virgos are gonna be last.
Losers. Just kidding.
Hey, we got some sensitive Virgos fucking
JK 2020
over the last couple of weeks, but okay.
We love Virgos here.
We do. I mean, that's the whole thing. In my life, I have more Virgos than I have at any other sign. All right, my fellow fucking awesome Leos, the best sign in the zodiac. Let's see what the fuck's going on for love this week. Boom. 10 of Swords upright. Okay. A lot of 10 of Swords popping up. I think you're overdoing the same thing over and over again. And you're ready for something new and different. So it's like, I think that you feel like you're in a repetitive pattern. Mars retrograde in the 9th house. It's like, yeah, I mean, I've seen and expanded and I'm ready for a new opportunity. I don't want the same repetitive shit. It's good that that's the first card. So it's about breaking new norms, like, and going into, new areas. Not trying to do the same thing over and over again in how you do love, right? So the challenge here is the vision reversed. So I feel like maybe you don't know what vision to do because you're caught up in the same loop, but when you get out, you can somewhat find some sort of vision. Although this is a weird time, second house opposed to Neptune, Sun and Virgo. Like, I think that this is about knowing, okay, you have values and you have desires. So you need to see what that vision is, and you have to be clear on what that vision is. And the challenge would be being clear on that vision. And it would be hard because of, kind of being in the same routines and patterns that just aren't working, especially with all the 6th house squares to Mars. It's like you're ready to destroy the routines for love, but you don't want to destroy the routines that keep you alive. 2 of Cups, soulmate card. Finally, we finally got a really good card. The Aries got a really good card. The Leos did. Overall, this is about really, I think Leo's really yearning for emotional, deep connection. And who's on that same emotional page? And so, yeah, that person has to have similar visions as you and also not want to go repeat old patterns in their life and you repeat old patterns in your own life. The shadow of the vision energy is, I won't cry for you. So I think that that's part of the vision is you feel that nobody really wants to see you for who you are or be emotional for you. And I think that's a vision that you have to erase. Because if you're attached to the vision, like, well, nobody loves me, or nobody will cry for me, or nobody will really want me, that's not going to build the ultimate soulmate connection that you want. And that's, I think, part of the pattern here is like, oh, yeah, always just nobody really is that into it. Or, too, it's like, well, maybe you don't cry for people because you don't feel like, you have the vision or maybe they have the vision. And you're like, I'm sick of going through people who don't have the vision or don't see. I can say from personal experience, it's like, it's like, you don't see the vision? Like, fucking, come on. 10 of Pentacles upright. Well, I mean, this is that instead of going through repetitive patterns, it's about finding a foundation and building a castle, right? This is the card of building a foundation and a castle and having the whole energy around itself. So I would say that I think that you're running in circles around trying to find the ultimate place that brings and builds something that's glorious. I mean, Venus is in Leo, let's not forget. So yeah, I mean, Venus is about building and so this is about stopping the patterns that haven't built anything that you wanted to build like, but also not going after relationships that don't want to build a big, powerful union with you. Anybody who's kind of on the fence about building a union, especially with the 2 of Cups, don't build. And that you don't feel that would cry. I mean, I don't think that Leos expect people to cry for them, but they kind of do in this weird vision that, that's how you know somebody likes you. Some people aren't like that. Why is that soulmate card coming up? The 6 of Pentacles reversed. So the soulmate that you don't feel like you need to, that is a charity case. No more charity cases. Somebody who has, it doesn't have to be the same monetarily, but somebody who has the same amount of skin in the game as you do. Instead of finding somebody who it's like, okay, we're soulmates because I'm going to rescue you in every dimension. Like, this is about learning to find the soulmate where, there's fair exchanges on both halves, opposed to going to ones where it's like, I'm doing all the work and you're not doing shit. No wonder it's the same pattern where they're not crying for you, because they're receiving everything and then they get everything. And when they leave, guess what? They're happy because they got a bunch of shit and then you gave away everything. The overall for Leos is the 7th. This is a big week about relationships. Soulmate card and 7th house of partnerships. Holy shit. Well, Leo, you can get a lot of answers this week about love. I think that you've been been waiting for something to change. South Node, third house, Taurus. So you need to focus on the ninth house in Scorpio. Like, what's the ultimate vision that's all in? Instead of focusing on the questionable and just keep going over the questions of like values. So partners, or if your partner is stuck on this value of understanding everything, you don't understand everything until you go through a relationship. Let's be honest. It's the adventure and the journey and going in all the way that you figure it out. There's no way to analyze something so much, third house, Taurus, to understand if it's going to work. That's the delusion. It's only the passion, the edge, and the intensity and the connection that is the adventure that will show you what's there.
Yeah, and it might be hard to find, it's understandable to find someone that's not going to get burned by the sun. It's understandable, but you have to keep searching. You can't allow yourself to dim, and you can't allow yourself to kind of, let that shine burn out either, in that search. Make sure you harness that energy within inside yourself and that you're always radiating. And someone's going to circumnavigate you like this. They're going to come around you and just start spinning into your atmosphere. And then they will become a part of you. And it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful timeline once that is played out, though. And it will. It's coming. You are the sun. That sun is shining, baby. Keep pushing.
Well, Virgos are last.
Virgo.
Happy birthday, Virgo.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Virgo.
Happy birthday from the hardwood gold gold cup. Happy birthday, Virgo, to you.
Happy birthday, Virgo.
See what's going on, Virgo? Last sign. You've been showing up last lately. Maybe you feel like you've been dead last in love, but I've got a good feeling. Let's see. This is a whole new deck that we're all stepping into in life. What's going on, Virgo? You pulled the Tower card. Oh, my God. Well, you know what? I think this is that in order for you to step into happiness in your life, there's a part of your life that is done. Or if you're in a relationship, Virgo, you can't operate the relationship the way it is. Or if you're single, the way that you've been stepping into relationships, like I feel like you're holding on to something that you're going to have to let go in order to really fucking have love. And you already know it's something that is detrimental to your life that you don't even want to do. So it's like, let go of what's fucking not good. I mean, you are going to have the big opposition of the sun in your sign to Neptune, Mars retrograde in your 8th. It's time to let go of things that give you passion or might be from the taboo or the dark, right? 8th house. Believe it or not, Virgos have a lot of dark shit in Aries, Mars. Strong shadows. That's what makes them the virgin is like to understand the shadow is the only way to understand what's pure. So, there's definitely something that's got to come to a close in order for you to move forward. But, in the positive of the Tower, it is like you have the opportunity for love this week to reach it's a powerful card. So it's a powerful relationship you need. But in order for the power that you are putting in your life in certain areas that aren't giving you that greatness that have come to an end is the only way that you'll transfer the power to somewhere different. You did pull for your challenge, the Death card. Yeah, wow, you got the Death in the Tower card. I mean, this is a transformational love week for you in the most big ways, but it is kind of this, kind of end to the way that you live your life. Completely. In order to truly, this is going to force you to change in order to have the love that you want. And I think that's the fear. The challenge is especially look at all the tentacles, of course, here on the eCommerce deck, for Death card. There's a lot of tentacles you have in a lot of different spaces. I think that it's rearranging where the tentacles are connecting emotionally in your life. You did pull the Page of Swords in reverse. So the overall is that you have to communicate you know, I mean, this is dealing with 8th house of Mars retrograde and stuff in your 8th house of trust and intimacy and all that. I think that the overall is like, show up to communicate what is it that you're afraid of losing in your life. And also, don't be afraid to communicate what you feel like in your life, that you feel like you're having to run away because the tower's coming down. Like, only partners are going to take you as real when you are fully real about even the most destructive things that are happening in your life. This is a very destructive moment here this week, right? To build something, I would say, beautiful, but don't deny it. Page of Swords reversed. Like, don't deny that there's something that has to be torn down completely in your life or yourself. Or if you're in a relationship, this is definitely the relationships that you've built that have come to an end that you know that you're afraid of putting to an end. Don't keep denying that or not talking about it. Yeah, your downcast pride. Like, I feel like you have too much pride in something that you don't even have pride in doing. That needs to end. You have too much pride in something that you don't have pride in. That's crazy. That needs to end. Right? It's like, I remember when I quit methamphetamine, I was actually a proud methamphetamine smoker. Like, oh yeah, fucking, this shit's cool. But no, it was not like I wanted to walk around and tell people that back in the day. And then I remember it was like, why do I have pride in something that I don't even want to have pride in saying unless, because I've been very honest on full disclosure last week about how the relationships in my life in 2005 and 6 when I used to use meth, you know, I used to think it was cool. I used to tell a chick like, oh yeah, I'm just smoking meth right now. and like, I remember the chick like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I'm putting pride in something that I really don't even have pride in. See why you got that Tower card, Virgo. You did pull the 10 of Cups reversed. Yeah, in order for the magical love story of your life, the family card, the ultimate dream, something has to come to an end. Some Tower moment, right? And let's look at this Tower moment. You have to run away. You have to run away from the tower that's fallen. It's like doing things, especially Tower moments are when you're grasping for anything that's left to keep something going that you know the writing is so on the wall that there's just no more. The door is closed by the universe in this direction. And this, I would say, it would be in your personal life, especially. And how are you going to open up 10 of Cups, one of the greatest cards for love? And the ultimate dreams and the fantasy of what we think of a love story should be like. I mean, you know. Why'd you get that Page of Swords reversed? You pulled the 6 of Wands in reversed. Okay. There is no victory by denial of what needs to come to a close and end and what you have pride in that you don't really have pride in. There is no victory without communicating that. But also, I would say there is no victory by just making it only about communication instead of change or integration. Talking's one thing, but victory is Wands when you actually go into the fire. And there's something about you thinking that you can figure things out, especially if we think about these transits with Mercury in your 2nd house. Like, you just can't overanalyze this whole thing. And with Venus and Leo in your 12th, like, you have to surrender to things that you think you love in order to really realize that you don't love them that much in order to have true love come into your life. There's a big transformation that's happening for Virgos. Your card of the week is, you Mercury, your mind. That overall, this is about the environment you're in. Are you around a good environment? That's the kind of love that comes into the environment you're at. So think of like where you go and what you hang around and what environment you're in is the kind of love story that would happen. So, I don't know, if you're in a place that's, Mask City and you want to mask her, yeah, fucking go there. If you're very left-wing, go to the left-wing environment. But if you're in a very right-wing area and you're trying to find love with a right-wing person and you're left-wing, that's the environment. You're not going to have as many options. I think that this also, too, is saying that your mind is at the center of all this and how your mind might be attached to certain things that you don't think could die. But your mind also has to look at the other side and be like, if this does die and this does end in my life, does it open up something new? I mean, you got Uranus in your 9th house, like trying to help you out here. Sun trine Jupiter too, which is for you. It's a great house. This is your love house. This is a big door for you to open up with love, but it's going to be about whether or not you know how to connect and put ends to blocking. Because maybe you're putting your energy of your passions into things. Like you're basically having sex with things that are not delivering you what you want back, but you're afraid to have sex and deeply connect to love. Cancer, Venus, 4th house. Well, it's time to get emotional. It's time to get feeling. It's time to start feeling fully and let the feelings rule the roost. Ironic that you pulled the Mercury card overall and you are Mercury ruled. It is your birthday. There's nothing worse than an analytical birthday than a birthday that you feel. There's nothing worse than a relationship that's in the head than when you feel. And the only way to build a base and to build anything beautiful and good, because Venus likes the 4th house and Venus likes Cancer. Awesome aspects for you to feel something great. Or block that.
Yeah, and where's the communication lacking? You know, maybe are you not being fully truthful with yourself? It's easy to lie to ourselves, and then we start. The relationship's going to go nowhere unless we're straightforward with ourselves first as to what we want to get out of it, who we want to be in this relationship, and who we want to have in this relationship with us. You know, so where is it maybe that you're kind of lying to yourself? You're letting some things slide that you necessarily wouldn't. You know, it's time that you are truthful with yourself. It's time that you're completely honest with yourself so that you can be honest with your partner, so you can be honest with the universe as to what you want to bring in. And I think that that's what we all need to do. I think that's what we all need to focus on too. Focus on ourselves, focus on what we want to bring in and what we're capable of putting out into the world. What are you capable at this time?
What are you capable of? And there's so much that we all are capable of all the time. And I think that when it comes to love, there's the art of surrender that I think is in all aspects, and to see how that plays out. I think that we try to control things too much. And I think with Mars retrograding this week, our egos can't control the way it looks. All we can do is let destiny happen by showing up for destiny and surrendering to destiny and see how it plays out. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't, because it will move us no matter what into the right place. And that's the ultimate potential that we block by trying to control everything into the way that we think it should look. And I think that the less we go into that control state, the more beauty there is. And if you definitely want to find out about your love story, but also learn all about astrology and learn my spiritual e-commerce and business, if you want to build that, you just get this new Ride the Waves package. It's just at highvibetvschool.com. It's all these classes, 90 hours of video, one price, all extremely discounted into a package. You can buy them individually, but you know, I forgot how, I think it's like 30 or 40% more. So definitely. And of course, if you have questions about it, you know, definitely put comments down here, or you can write Ann at highvibe.tv. I appreciate you all. I know Craig does. I know we all here do at High Vibe. I know that this is a very intense week, but the best thing, and this is our new slogan, it really is, you know you feel it. Are you ready to see it? And I think that, you know, when you feel something, you have to respond. Instead of not see it, not respond to it. And I think that we're in times right now where we have to respond to things. We can't just sit in the back of the room anymore. We just can't sit in our bed and keep reading a book. We just can't sit looking at our phone screen all the time. So.
Yeah, just in the mornings for your daily horoscopes. You know, it's a great time to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Look at those screens.
That's what I'm saying. Well, this week, Deep Astrology tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, full disclosure with Craig and I. And we love you. Please share this video. We enjoyed our Labor Day off, and we will see all of you on High Vibe. Or if you're on the Leo King YouTube, we'll see you with the recorded version Thursday for Deep Astrology, when you could be watching it live, and the full charts and everything tomorrow night with us. So join highvibe.tv.
Do it.
Adios.
See ya.